as they did the same thing in November. The suspension is related to the parliament's vote in favor of imposing a 3-month state of emergency. Under the Turkish constitution, the state of emergency can only violate human rights law to the extent that it does not also violate international treaties. The European Convention on Human Rights allows for temporary suspensions in time of war or other public emergencies, though Kurtulmuş says this will only be related to post-coup measures and that normal daily life will not be affected nationwide, at least no more than the nationwide purge already has. Since Friday night's coup failure, Turkey has arrested 9,000 people and sacked some 50,000, including entire industries. All academics are barred from leaving the country now as part of the crackdown. The European Convention on Human Rights bans a broad number of violations, including torture, slavery, and summary executions. It also bars governments from broadly restricting freedom of speech and freedom of association. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports the top illegal file-sharing site for music, TV, and movies in the world has been shut down by the U.S. federal government. Kickass Torrents, an international site where millions of people have shared copyrighted material for free, was run by a 30-year-old Ukrainian, Artem Volin, who was arrested Wednesday in Poland. The bust represents a major effort by U.S. law enforcement agencies to crack down on piracy after years of growing pressure by the country's biggest entertainment companies. The criminal complaint alleges investigators tracked Volin down through legal iTunes purchases he made in July and December of 2015, then through his site's Facebook page. Feds also traced him through his email account he used for those purchases. In the complaint, Kickass Torrents is said to be the 69th most visited site on the entire internet, with an average of 50 million visitors per month. And despite being a hub for illegal trade of copyrighted material, the site allegedly made between $12.5 and $22.3 million from advertising. In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. But Mr. Drake's security company has seen better days. Faced with the prospect of waning power, Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. But at what cost? And can anyone stop him? Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Reuters reports a federal judge on Thursday temporarily suspended a Michigan law that abolished straight ticket voting, the practice of using one mark to vote for all candidates from one party that was going to take effect in the November general election. U.S. District Court Eastern District of Michigan Judge Gershwin Drain granted a preliminary injunction sought by the civil rights and labor groups who sued Secretary of State Ruth Johnson, arguing the law would keep African Americans from voting. In his ruling, Drain cited a report by Kurt Metzger, regional information specialist with the U.S. Census Bureau, that found that minority voters are more likely to use straight party voting. The Michigan law is among a number of state voting rules that have been fought in the courts ahead of the November election, along with stricter voter identification laws in some states and laws on voting rights of felons in others. In January, Michigan Governor Rick Snyder signed into law a bill passed by the legislature to eliminate straight party voting. Proponents of the law say most states have moved away from the straight ticket voting option. Removing the option urges voters to study candidates and encourages voters to make decisions based on criteria other than party affiliation. Drain said the plaintiffs are likely to win their claim that the law violates the 1965 Voting Rights Act because the law reduces voting opportunities for African Americans in the state. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
This is the Onion Week in Review.
According to friends, colleagues, and complete strangers, anxiety-ridden man Timothy Gibbula is rightly ashamed of every single thing he does, with mere acquaintances saying they're constantly judging Gibbula at every moment, just as he suspects.
Tim's the kind of guy who's forever second-guessing his behavior, as if everyone's constantly scrutinizing him, and he's completely correct. We all are.
We can spend entire afternoons picking apart Tim's taste in clothing and his receding hairline. It's honestly all we do when he's not around.
Anytime he awkwardly says excuse me when he's he's waiting in line for milk or sugar, anytime he fails to make eye contact with me when he asks me for the Wi-Fi password. Not only do I notice these things, but I use them to judge him fundamentally as a human being.
A 3-alarm fire that tore through a family home in Newark, Delaware early Saturday morning tragically claimed a half sleeve of Oreo cookies that were trapped inside a cupboard. At the time of the blaze, the residence was occupied by Mike and Sheila Donlin, their 3 young children, and 6 delicious chocolate sandwich cookies, all half dozen of which perished in the intense heat and towering flames.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. Of course, you can join us on the radio waves. You can bring up whatever happens to be on your mind. Take control of the airwaves. With you in the studio tonight, you've got me, Ian.
TJ the Spy.
And Darryl.
And, of course, you can join us online anytime you want. Just head on over to freetalklive.com and enjoy all the features that we have on our website for you, which do include, by the way, a couple of torrents that you can actually download Free Talk Live. Actually, I'm not sure. I don't know what the health status is of those torrents because the FBI stole the computer here that was one of the seeds, and they never really had that many seeds, so hopefully whoever the other seeds were have been continuing to seed those torrents.
I'll have to see what I can find.
Yeah, I just haven't even taken the time to look into that. Since,
I'd like to correct you, Ian. They did not steal your laptop. They conducted court-authorized borrowing.
It wasn't a laptop. It was a desktop computer that was running the torrent software. But regardless, the torrents do exist, and if they're not there now, we'll do what we can to get them back online. But torrents are a method for sharing files over the internet, a peer-to-peer file sharing method, meaning that when you download a torrent, the torrent itself does not have the files that you're wanting to download in it. The torrent simply has sort of the directions that your computer needs to acquire those files from the torrent network.
You know, it is so adorable to listen to non-computer science try to explain technical, sciencey things. So, yes, Ian, tell us all about Merkle trees and,
no, I don't know
and
what
hashes.
That is. I can't explain the hash.
Okay.
But, all of that detail isn't necessary to
That is correct. It's actually
what a torrent is.
All of the detail is not necessary, and a lot of times people that are computer science people will explain something in a manner that they understand, but the average person is going to go, what?
Yeah. So torrents are a way to share files over the internet in a more efficient manner in a lot of ways. So one of the things that a torrent is useful for is taking the burden off of a centralized file server. It's essentially a decentralized way of sending files over the internet. And a torrent, by its nature, isn't necessarily illegal. A torrent could be a torrent full of legal files, like the Free Talk Live archives that we have torrents of, or for instance, another good example.
I've got a couple of audiobooks that I've put the files up on torrent. I own the rights to,
and so you can distribute them.
I've put them up under Creative Commons.
Exactly. So torrents themselves, the concept of the torrent is not illegal. But the government does not like the fact that torrents exist. They don't like the fact that people are using torrents.
And they don't like the fact that there are websites letting you know where you can find the torrents.
That's correct. The news here that we're leading up to is that yet another torrent site has been targeted by the United States federal government, and its owner has been arrested in a completely different country, by the way, and is expected to be extradited.
Is this a Title 17 U.S.C. Section 501, 506 criminal copyright case?
You know what? I couldn't tell you that, but I can give you some more details here from Wired.com. They say this case against the website called Kickass Torrents.
Oh, I know that one. Okay, yeah.
Yep, could be huge. Kickass Torrents was probably one of the biggest competitors to the Pirate Bay.
No, they're saying, based on some stuff that I read earlier, Kickass Torrents was the #1 torrent website because the Pirate Bay kept getting pulled down, so they'd have to change the domain and people would have to try to find it again. And, well, Kickass Torrents had not been pulled down until Wednesday. And also, according to the report that I read, something that's included in the criminal complaint, Kickass Torrents was allegedly the 69th largest website on the entire internet as far as visits go.
Incredible. And when that should give people an indicator, maybe if you're new to the show or new to the idea of torrents, it should give you an indicator of how popular this is. How many millions of people around the globe have utilized a torrent to download a movie, music, or a video game, or some other sort of computer program. These are some of the more common things that you'll find on these torrent websites. And, of course, many of these things are copyrighted, so it's technically not legal to make copies of these things in the way that the torrents allow people to do.
Well, and one thing that's interesting, under copyright law, if you have a physical copy of, let's just say, and yes, I know I'm holding a cell phone in my hand, but let's just say that this is a copy of V for Vendetta. I have it in my hand.
You've purchased it.
Yes.
I can have a digital copy as long as I own the physical
original
copy.
Yes. Correct. Right. That is true. But many of the people who have the digital copies do not own the original copy.
Correct.
They have gotten it through torrents or whatever.
They also, according to UPI, 50 million people per month visited Kickass torrents.
Incredible.
Yes. Now, can I just say, why a torrent is special? Because it's one of these things that when you see the solution, it was so obvious in hindsight, and I'm so embarrassed I didn't think of it. But torrents, the real advantage is when you have very large files. So sharing music files is not a big deal. But if you have to share like a 3 gigabyte movie file with 10 people, you have to consume 30 gigabytes of your home internet bandwidth. Well, that's a lot of bandwidth, especially if a lot of people want your file. So
hold on. Why does a 3 gigabyte file take up 30 gigabytes?
If you have to download it 10 copies. So if 10
you're
people,
saying to share to 10 people.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
That's using the traditional server-client model, where if you log into a website, you download a file, it all comes from that one website. Well, someone said, well, wait a minute. If we have 10 people all want the same movie, why don't we give Darryl the first half and we give TJ the second half? And now we have 3. So all the people who want the film, they can come to you for the first half or Ian for the first half. So there's 2 people sharing the first half instead of just Ian. So the idea is, as Ian sends this out, it propagates and explodes exponentially because every person who has a piece of the file can share it with everybody else in the swarm. So you all connect together and you shout out and you say, I have this piece right here. Who needs it? And they'll say, I need this piece, and you send it to them. So that way it greatly reduces the load on the network. You take what's called latent capacity or latent unused capacity. You can use that to send big files very quickly.
Not only that, but it solves the problem. And I'm looking at this from the user perspective, not from the government perspective. So I see this as solving the problem of having a single point of failure.
That's true.
Like you had with, say, LimeWire or Napster.
Yes. That's the other nice thing about it, because of some mathematical trick called Merkle trees, and you can look them up on Wikipedia, but given a hash, a 160-digit number, the BitTorrent, it's very good at weeding out fakes. So a lot of when the initial Digital Millennium Copyrights Act was passed, a lot of the companies tried to fight piracy by putting up fake torrents or they sent bad packets. And so BitTorrent, it's designed so that there's a bad actor. If somebody sends you a file and it's not part of the file, it's just a bunch of garbage, after a couple times, your client will block that person, saying, this person, I don't know why or care, but they're sending me bad packets, and it'll just drop them from the network. So it effectively makes it very hard for movie companies to pollute the swarm with bad packets because of this integrity file checking.
All right, so I just did a search for Merkle tree, and it's not named after the German chancellor, but it looks sort of like some multi-level marketing thing.
Yes.
To where you get 2 people, and they get 2 people, and they get 2 people, and they get 2 people, and 5 layers deep, you've got the entire world sharing parts of something.
I mean, the thing is, if I give you that root hash at the very top, the thing about a Merkle tree is, if I say, here's a piece to the file, I can actually prove to you that this piece is legitimate and it belongs at this position. And there's no way to change the order of the pieces. I can't manipulate any of the data. If I have that 160-bit number at the top called the root hash, and that's what you actually download.
Now, the hash is like a unique number.
Serial number.
That basically identifies the file that it's related to.
We don't have to go. I was just say it's a scrambling function.
The torrent script knows how to work. All I need to know is I can put in what's called the magnet link into my transmission client, and then 20 minutes later I can watch Game of Thrones. That's all I need to know.
Which wouldn't necessarily be completely legal, but if you did have perhaps HBO, then maybe it would be. But regardless, there are a bunch of people who use torrents for their favorite show because they can't justify subscribing to HBO because they just want to watch one series or something like that. And so, again, there's millions of users of torrents. Obviously, the government can't effectively target millions of people. They don't have enough jail space. They don't have the court space to go after those people. But they can go after the centralized repositories where the torrents are held. And Kickass Torrents is one of those. We're going to talk about the case coming up. You can share your thoughts, 855-450-FREE, or you can bring up anything that you want. This is Free Talk Live.
All right, listen up, because this is the most important thing you're going to hear all day. What if I said you could make money flipping houses without any cash, credit, or manual labor? And what if I said you could do it part-time from the comfort of your home? Sound unflippin' believable? Hi, I'm Preston Neely, and I'm going to prove it by sending you a free copy of my smash hit selling book, How to Get Rich in Real Estate. It sells online for $19.95, but I'm giving away free copies this week. To get one before they're gone, call 1-800-960-4295. I used to be so broke, I had my electricity shut off 9 times, but I figured out a simple way to make money flipping houses without even breaking a sweat. Now I'm living the good life, and so should you. Listen, if you're sick and tired of stressing about money, this book could change your life. Hands down, it's the fastest, easiest way to get started in real estate. Let me prove it. Call right now to find out how to get your free book. When they're gone, they're gone. Call 1-800-960-4295. 1-800-960-4295.
At Lumber Liquidators, we're kicking off our summer stack-out sale with special deals at every store. Overstock floors, small lots, and more are priced to move. Get unheard-of clearance deals at select stores on 2,000 varieties of pre-finished hardwood from just 59 cents. Special buys like durable strand carbonized bamboo. It's just $169. North American and European laminate up to 20% off, with some deals from just 29 cents. And special financing. Visit LumberLiquidators.com to find a store near you and get to the summer stack-out sale today.
So my daughter is off to college soon, and I got her some bedding from the company store. The good stuff, as she calls it. She thinks I'm being generous. I know better. See, college is not cheap, and sleep is hard to come by, which is important. So I'm doing whatever I can to assure she gets a good night's sleep, when she actually sleeps.
The Company Store has been perfecting a good night's sleep for over 100 years. Visit thecompanystore.com to see our full line of college bedding and more. Enter the code PILLOW and get 15% off your order plus free shipping.
Hi folks, GetTheTea.com is the place where the popular Life Change tea calls home. But did you know Get the Tea is also where you can purchase GMO-free organic supplements? You can read about their potent power at GetTheTea.com. Also, they just added a YouTube channel called Health Matters Now. That's Health Matters Now. Education about our health can be a life change. Maybe that's why our famous tea is called Life Change Tea. Learn about the trees for life. Our supplements have no fillers, no wheat, no rice, no garbage. And our tea is wow to the body. Make a conscious health change. Educate yourself on the most powerful essence of life, which is your health. You want more? Log on to GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Or visit our YouTube channel at Health Matters Now. That's Health Matters Now. And don't forget our fabulous mild detox tea at GetTheTea.com.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com. For Bitcoin to be ubiquitous, people need to use it. For people to use it, they must have it. How can we get Bitcoin into more hands? Tipping. What if you could include a bonus Bitcoin tip along with your regular tip to a server? What if that Bitcoin tip returned to you if unclaimed after 30 days? An attractive business card Bitcoin tip that's easily claimed, gives instructions on wallets and spending, and returns to the tipper if unused. Tip.freetalklive.com. Tip.freetalklive.com.
Listen to LRN.FM on any phone, anytime. 641-552-5046. That's 641-552-5046.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up whatever's on your mind here, though we are at the moment talking about Kickass Torrents. They've been targeted by the federal government in the United States. The owner, the purported owner, has been arrested outside of the United States. We'll tell you more about that coming up here. And if you've got Bitcoin, then I want you to download the official wallet of Free Talk Live, Jaxx. You can get it at jaxx.io or your favorite Google or Apple App Store. And there's no wallet like it. You can hold Bitcoin, Ether, as well as DAO tokens with it, and more currencies are coming, according to the folks behind Jaxx. In fact, it's Anthony Diorio, the creator of Jaxx, the founder of, by the way, CryptoKit, which you may remember as one of the things we told you about a couple of years back.
You mean
here
CryptoCat?
CryptoKit, actually. No, CryptoKit is completely different from CryptoCat. I believe CryptoCat is a chat client.
Yes, chat client by that Russian
CryptoKit is
programmer.
a plugin for your Chrome browser, and I forget if it's on Firefox, but it's definitely on Chrome at the very least, and it allows you to do PGP messaging as well as Bitcoin in the same little plugin. It's pretty sweet. So with the Jaxx wallet, it's super easy to back up your wallet and recover funds. Plus, there's now Shapeshift integration, which allows for frictionless, easy exchange between currencies. So you don't have to go and sign up for some ridiculous exchange account, which is a huge process to go through. If you just want to change your Bitcoin into Ether or your Ether into Bitcoin or DAO tokens, then you just get the Jaxx wallet, and you can do it right there from within the wallet. jaxx.io. Jaxx is striving to give you command over your digital life. Coins, contracts, currencies, identity, and more. It's your digital command center in the palm of your hand. Jaxx, the official wallet of Free Talk Live at jaxx.io, jaxx.io. One of the asides from this story about the Kickass Torrents website, unfortunately, is indicting the status over at Coinbase for assisting the police in their investigation of Kickass Torrents. Coinbase, not a pro-freedom website.
Well, their business model is we don't want to get our kneecaps broken.
Yeah, that's true. They got to obey.
I must say, I went to their money laundering compliance website, and they had like 49 licenses. They're licensed in every state that requires it. So they've probably spent...
Which state doesn't require it?
There's only one or two.
South Carolina?
Something like that. Yeah, I don't know. But I know they got one in New Hampshire, so... if I ever became a money transmitter and sold Bitcoins, I would definitely have the money transmitter license because the federal government can be very nasty if the Treasury Department comes knacking.
So I heard people say that Coinbase assisted the feds in tracking this guy down, but all I have seen, from news reports to support the claim is that Coinbase, when asked by the feds, they said, yes, he had an account, and this is how much money went through it, which is hardly the same as saying, and here's the bank he used, and here's the address he had on file, and here's the government-issued ID that he provided us.
Well, they would have that. They just probably don't put that in the affidavit. They'll put that in discovery, but I guarantee you Coinbase has all that information.
Our toll-free number tonight is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
And regarding the charges, I've actually found the Justice Department has something up on their website.
They're bragging.
I was not able to find anything on Pacer, but the Justice Department says that Volin, who is Ukrainian and was arrested in Poland, is charged by criminal complaint with one count of conspiracy to commit criminal copyright infringement, one count of conspiracy to commit money laundering, and 2 counts of criminal copyright infringement.
So 17 U.S.C. 501, 506, and 18 U.S.C. 1956?
They don't list the U.S.C. blah, 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 whatever. But yeah, you're probably correct. And
that's
there's a quote from the Assistant Attorney General who says, Volin is charged with running today's most visited illegal file-sharing website responsible for unlawful distribution well over $1 billion of copyrighted material. In an effort to evade law enforcement, Volin allegedly relied on servers located in countries around the world and moved his domains due to repeated seizures and civil lawsuits. His arrest in Poland, however, demonstrates again the cyber criminals can run, but they cannot hide.
Oh, well, I'm sure that all of the other torrent website operators are so scared, and they're going to shut down all their websites just right away.
A U.S. attorney says copyright infringement exacts a large toll, a very human one, on the artists and businesses whose livelihoods hinge on their creative inventions.
Yeah, I'm sure that
I'm sure Sony BMG and Universal Music Group are really
Taylor Swift is really hurting for money right now.
There have actually been reports and studies that show that when people give content away, they wind up, on average, bringing in more money because people want to then support the things that they like.
Well, that's certainly true. Like when you cut out a record company, if you're looking at, say, making music, the classic version of distribution is the band will get picked up by a label.
Right.
The label then gives them a really crappy deal where the label makes 90% of the money that is being put towards CDs or whatever the distribution method is, and the band gets next to nothing. So when they cut out the record companies and market directly to their fans, then yes, they can do much better if they do what you're saying. Obviously, the record labels aren't interested in giving anything away, but there's still another argument. And I don't know how many studies have been done about this, but there have been certainly informal questions asked of people who are known to be users of torrents, known to be file sharers, that will say, well, would you have purchased this product if you weren't able to listen to it first?
Right.
And they would say no. That the fact that many of them were able to listen to or watch the product first encouraged them to go ahead and actually buy it.
Right. That there are artists that are musical artists, not physical painter artists, but musical artists that I've basically quote unquote discovered or been introduced to through things like iHeartRadio that I never would have heard if I were just listening to traditional radio or skimming YouTube.
So you look at the movies that are available on torrent, and some of them are cam captures from somebody sitting in the back of a movie theater with a video camera. Now, there's a certain type of person who is willing to watch something like that.
I've watched some of those.
Have you really? See, I'm not willing to do it.
Not from torrent.
Okay.
No, so when I worked for an airline close to a decade ago, there was a guy that I worked with that he would sell bootleg. He would still be selling these things on VHS, but he would have these bootlegged versions of movies, and some of them were things where it was cam capture.
Yeah, okay. It's ugly. It's not something I really want to watch. It
and then
look as
occasionally
good.
He would get something where it would be like 2 steps before the final production, so like you could still see the rope that was swinging Cyclops through some scene.
They got a leak. He got a leaked version.
He would get a leaked version every now and then that was like not completely finished.
So, I mean, there's only a certain portion of people that actually want to watch a movie like that, and that's like the people who, for whatever reason, will not justify spending $10 on a movie ticket or $15 or whatever an actual movie ticket costs in your market. And many people who maybe did go see the movie but don't want to go pay to see it a second time or something like that. They just want to watch a portion of it again. Toll-free number tonight, 855-450-FREE. But these aren't criminals. They're just people that want to see their movies they're interested in. They want to hear the bands they want to hear. And they're going to do it regardless of whether or not Kickass Torrents owner gets arrested. We'll talk more about the case coming up, and you can join us on Free Talk Live.
We use mobile devices right against our bodies every day, but growing scientific evidence has emerged showing serious health risks associated with exposure to EMF radiation emitted from these devices. The solution is Defender Shield, the most effective mobile radiation shielding ever developed. Defender Shield blocks virtually 100% of EMF radiation from cell phones, tablets, and laptops, and starts at just $64.99. Buy now at DefenderShield.com. For 10% off, use promo code GCN. DefenderShield.com, the worldwide leader in mobile radiation shielding.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Is your child defiant, independent, annoyingly inquisitive? After a long, hard day of following the rules, who wants to deal with troublesome kids? 49% of children suffer from oppositional defiant disorder, or ODD. Symptoms of ODD include independent thought, rampant creativity, and failure to submit to authority. But now there's a solution. The good people at Pilfer can help you with their time-release, once-daily capsule, Complyacin. Your child won't be able to form his own opinions, let alone express them. It maintains your child's ability to go to a state-run school and perform simple tasks around the house. You won't have to worry about parenting, and the school won't have to deal with your kid asking questions. Complyacin. You'll go from this.
Quit telling me what to do! Quit telling me what to do! Quit telling me what to do!
To this.
Good morning, Mother. I love going to school. And this week we're learning all about how the government is our federal family and they're here to help us.
Complyacin. Talk to your school psychiatrist and ask for it by name.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
For years, LRN.FM has had a listen line that you can call and listen to LRN.FM anytime. Now we're taking the idea to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line. You can call 641-793-9660 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed, and you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 641-793-9660 and choose from the menu. 641-793-9660.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your get intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Of course, you can bring up whatever's on your mind. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Kickass Torrents has been targeted for takedown by the United States federal government. The alleged proprietor, Artem Volin, has been arrested over in, where was it you said he got picked up? Poland?
He got picked up in Poland.
So, sadly, the reach of the United States federal government, it appears to be quite global. If you're hiding out in some other country, then they can still get to you. Now, I guess there are some countries that have no extradition treaty with the United States, maybe like a dozen or something.
Well, just because there's no extradition treaty doesn't mean they won't extradite. So, for example, China, let's say you're a wanted murderer and you're caught in China. They're probably going to extradite you unless, like someone like me, paradoxically, if I were to go to China, I would actually have a get-out-of-jail-free card because I could go to Chinese intelligence and say, if you won't extradite me, I will tell you everything I know about the United States National Security Agency and all our cryptographic secrets. Now, granted, I could never come back.
The NSA wouldn't like that very much.
Oh, yes. I would definitely be pulling, I would never be able to come back, and I would be under arrest for all kinds of charges, and I would never do that. But someone like you, if you were to flee to China and the U.S. were to have a warrant out for your arrest, they probably would extradite you. Whereas someone like, if you have something to offer, like Snowden, he had a lot to offer, namely the Russian Foreign Intelligence Service. Now, if they claim up and down, he never told them a thing, but...
Right.
Yeah, I'm kind of a little skeptical about that. The Russian, the Federalnoye Sluzhba Bezopasnosti, that's the FSB. They're like the FBI. Yeah, you got to learn all these things. You got to learn how to say them in the Russian form, so you sound intelligent.
That sounded good.
Good job, Boris and Natasha.
Yes.
So you can join us here. We're talking about this Kickass Torrents story. Wired.com has a story that says that Kickass Torrents case could be huge. It was a legal iTunes purchase that helped the feds nab Artem Volin, the alleged proprietor of Kickass Torrents, the world's biggest purveyor of illegal torrent files. Now, to be clear, a torrent file itself does not have any illegal information in it. It does not contain the actual movie or music or program. It's only a series of instructions on where the torrent program should go and how it should go and download those things.
Right. It's saying there's bits and pieces of this thing, and it's like some weird computer scavenger hunt, and the program's like, oh, okay, I know where to get these, and it goes and picks up the bits and pieces, and then it compiles it on your computer, and you have a song or a movie or a TV show or a radio program.
It's incredibly resilient, because if you have like 1,000 people who have all downloaded the song, it only takes one, and you don't even need to have one person with all. Like if you have one person in the swarm who has half the file, and so one other person in the network has the other half of the file, well, the two together will automatically regenerate and recreate the whole file, and so will every other person in the swarm. So even if you have 1,000 people with the file, if you take out 999, you leave that one guy with one copy of the file, it'll repropagate instantly.
Yeah, well, not instantly, but fast enough.
Yes,
and that's one of the wonderful things about the way torrents operate is it's both decentralized and distributed.
Yep, let's go to the phones, and we'll talk more about what Wired has to say here. Plus, there's a top 10 list of the most popular torrent websites. They've taken down Kickass torrents, but what's number 2, 3, 4, and 5? We can tell you
Pirate Bay,
Euro torrents, maybe?
No, stand by for that. First, Patrick is in Arizona. You're on Free Talk Live, listening to K-Talks. Hey, Patrick.
Hey, guys. How you doing today?
Hey, what's on your mind tonight?
Hey, it was funny last year. There was a bunch of kids, when they got out of school, we're going back into the school district, but the teachers were telling them to tell their parents to not go on cable anymore. Why go on cable when you could watch first-round movies off the computers? So they were actually teaching these kids how to do exactly what you're saying, and people were calling up the cable companies and saying, pulling their cables because they were hooking it up to their computers and watching TV live on new run movies and everything else. And I was wondering, it's funny because I never really understood the process of how they were doing it, but it's funny that they were teaching that in school last year.
Well, it's interesting allegations.
I don't know if they were actually teaching how to torrent stuff in school. They were probably telling people, hey, there's other stuff, so you can pay $9.99 a month for Netflix and then watch movies. You can get Amazon Prime, and then there's the Amazon Video.
Yeah.
So there's people that are getting rid of cable.
Cord cutters, as they're called.
They're called cord cutters, where they're getting rid of cable, but then they're paying for all of these subscription services to get the same stuff that they were getting from cable.
And paying less for the subscription services. Now, maybe that's what happened, Patrick.
But if you're paying for 5 of these different things, because there's some stuff that is...
It's still going to be cheaper than cable.
Well, there's some stuff that's exclusive to Netflix, some that's exclusive to Amazon Prime, some that's exclusive to Hulu.
Right.
You add those together, that's $30 a month. You can get a cheap cable package for $20 or $30.
Well, no, that would just be over the air. It's not going to be CNN. It's not going to
get
anything.
The basic.
If you want
CNN is basic
$70
cable.
to $80 minimum, if you want any kind of channel like CNN, Discovery.
Your typical cable subscriber's paying at least $70, if not $100 per month for their packages. So buying these online services is a much cheaper way of going about it. Patrick, maybe what happened was the teacher was simply talking to the students about their experience of getting at Netflix or Hulu or something like that. I find it hard to believe there would be any kind of official curriculum encouraging students to pirate software or movies.
Well, out here in the desert, people, kids out here are amazing. I mean, working in what I feel, most of these kids seem to know more than we do. And heck, I'm pushing 60 right now, and I'll tell you, it's incredible what they can do on these computers now. It really is unbelievable.
No doubt, but what's sad is apparently they can't read a book. Darryl's got a story about book virgins. We'll get to that a little bit later. Patrick, thanks for your call tonight, man. I appreciate hearing from you. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Certainly, if you find the idea of a torrent daunting and confusing, just bring a teenager or 20-something in, and I'm sure they can
or continue
help you
to pay $80 a month for cable or whatever. And it's that's the thing about the free market. There's no reason you can't do it however you want. And of course, this is the cable companies. If you work for a cable company, I'd like to tell you a story about the trains. You see, a long time ago, all the freight was moved across the country by railroads, and they pretty much had a monopoly on all transportation. And then someone invented an 18-wheel tractor trailer, and the tractor trailers took over. And what companies like Baltimore Northern, Burlington Northern, Santa Fe, BNSF, and Union Pacific Railroad, they thought they were in the railroad industry. What they really were in is the movement of goods industry.
Logistics.
Yes, and that's why they got blindsided. When they saw trucks, they said, well, how can we keep the trucks from competing with our train schedule? And hence we got the Interstate Commerce Commission. So a lot of times, the companies such as Sony BMG, they're not in they don't sell CDs. That's not their business. They're in the music distribution. That's their real business model, but they don't realize that. So when somebody comes along and says, hey, we have a way to distribute music digitally, no CDs, no manufacturing cost, the cost to reproduce and distribute is practically zero. We could have 1 million artists, all of them crappy, but this is the beautiful thing about digital. Instead of having like 1,000 people who appeal to the mainstream, we can now have 1 million artists who only appeal to like 300 people each. So we can, we have so much more variety of programming now. Like this program right here, we wouldn't be able to produce this program 20 years ago.
No.
All this equipment here,
20 years ago, yes. 31 years ago, no, because of the fairness doctrine.
Well, 20 years ago it would have been harder because it would have been 1996 and internet distribution of content.
Even 10 years ago, there was no Google Hangouts. There was no YouTube.
We were doing
this
it 10
show's
years
been
ago.
around for 13 years.
Well, you didn't have live streaming on YouTube. So
the show's been around for about 13, 14 years. We've been sharing MP3s of this show from day number 1 in 2002, November 3rd of 2002. So you're close to right, but not quite. Toll-free number is 855-453.
Touche, my good sir.
855-450-3733. More about the attack on torrents here in moments. And you can also take control of the airwaves. You can bring up whatever's on your mind. Join us here on Free Talk Live. Also, our Skype username is LRN.FM.
Every once in a while, you get information that's worth changing your life for. This is one such time. You can save up to and beyond 25% on all purchases at Amazon. You probably heard of Bitcoin and just not thought much about it. You certainly know that you can get competitive pricing at Amazon, but now you can get a 25% discount on nearly everything you need to live. I've just given you a huge raise, and all you have to do is claim it. You go to saveitpurse.com and open an account. Do this right now. Don't wait. Then you fund the account with Bitcoin. You can buy them through expresscoin.com with a check or money order. There are other ways to get Bitcoin, but that's fast, safe, and easy. This information is worth you changing the way you do things. Go to saveitpurse.com right now, get signed up, and cash in on the huge raise I'm offering you. 15 to 25% off of everything at Amazon through saveitpurse.com. It's saveatpurse.com.
For life's aches and pains, choose Blue Emu Continuous Pain Relief Spray. It works fast, and it's easy to use. Designed to work odor-free in all those remote areas. It works here. It's odor-free here. It works here. Blue Emu Continuous Pain Relief Spray. Fast-acting, easy-to-use, odor-free pain relief for all those remote areas. Available at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, and other fine retailers.
Napa know-how!
Napa's celebrating the most important things we can think of: America, racing, and freedom, by giving you a free patriotic racing cap for spending $25 at Napa. And for every hat given away, we'll donate $1 to the Intrepid Fallen Heroes Fund. Help us celebrate America, racing, and freedom with a free Napa patriotic racing cap. That's Napa know-how. participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer expires 7/31/16.
Phone records, financial and location data, Prism, Tempora, X-Keyscore, Boundless Informant. Hey, y'all, Scott Horton here for offnow.org. Now, here's the deal. Due to the Snowden revelations, we have a great opportunity for a short period of time to get some real rollback of the national surveillance state. Now, they're already trying to tire us by introducing fake reforms in the Congress. And the courts, they betrayed their sworn oaths to the Constitution and Bill of Rights again and again, and can in no way be trusted to stop the abuses for us. We've got to do it ourselves. How? We nullify it at the state level. It's still not easy, but the Off Now project of the 10th Amendment Center has gotten off to a great start. I mean it. There's real reason to be optimistic here. They've gotten their model legislation introduced all over the place, in state after state. I've lost count, more than a dozen. You're always wondering, yeah, but what can we do? Here's something important, something that can work if we do the work. Get started cutting off the NSA support in your state. Go to offnow.org.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live shows 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
There's no better app for tracking the value of cryptocurrencies than CoinCap. I've had a lot of apps for tracking Bitcoin, but none that's ever been able to track 500 digital assets at once. Their best feature is the Altfolio. I love this thing. You enter how many Bitcoins, Ether, Dash, Doge, or whatever else you have, and it tells you how much your crypto is worth. You can watch yourself get rich. If you have crypto, go right now to coincap.io, or you can use the Apple Store or Google Play to get the app. I love CoinCap. coincap.io.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You're invited to join us on the air here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Our Skype username is lrn.fm. More on the way about Kickass Torrents. They've been taken down by the federal government in the United States, and the alleged proprietor of the site, Artem Wallin, has been targeted and arrested in Poland. We'll tell you more about that here in moments. Freedom's Phoenix is a liberty-oriented news aggregation site. If you want the newest and freshest stories and perspective on current events from those who value liberty, freedomsphoenix.com has it. Their daily dispatch is the best way to stay up to date on science, technology, historical findings, liberty news, government overspending, and the rise of the police state. Freedoms with an S, phoenix.com. That's freedomsphoenix.com. As we go to your calls and thoughts, we'll start with Dodger in Michigan. Dodger, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Hello, I'm not sure if you remember my calls last week about me going up against the man.
I don't know, dude. You got to remember, there's always new people listening to the show. So, what were you calling about tonight?
Well, I flipped off the cops and caught myself a charge.
Right. Okay.
Well, okay.
So, he had called in about that previously, and then what had happened with that story?
Well, actually, it happened again, and this time I actually it ended up in jail. But I'm not calling about that. I'm calling about.
Is this your one phone call?
I think so.
No, he said he wound up in jail. They give you one phone call when you're in jail.
Yeah, you're not in jail right now, right?
Oh no! It happened this last.
So you flipped
Monday.
Another cop off, and they arrested you again?
Actually, same cop.
Oh man!
But no, I'm actually calling because of Donald Trump and his protectionist policies, and that's what I wanted to talk about.
Okay. Well, there's no reason to recall previous calls if you're calling about something different. So go ahead with your thoughts on Trump.
My apologies.
Yep.
really, I think about the auto industry in the 80s and 90s, in which, I was up and coming, a teenager. Ian, you and I are roughly the same age.
Okay.
And I just remember hearing from many older gentlemen that, you buy a foreign car, that's an American job lost. And now I'm going to fast forward to today, where I'm bringing up Trump's whole thing about trying to cut off trade with China. And it's like, it doesn't make any sense. The fact
Did
is...
he really say that? Was that in his speech last night? I heard he had a 75-minute long speech at the Republican convention. Is that where he was saying he wanted to cut off trade with China? Because that's the first I've heard of it. I didn't watch the speech, obviously.
Well, I was informed of this by my father, who is a lifelong Democrat, and he actually does not even agree with him because of his protectionist policies. Now, protectionism has not, protected anybody.
Well, protectionism does protect established industries from competition. I mean, that's what protectionism does. It doesn't protect the consumer because it prevents us from having choices in the marketplace from the international community.
Right. Now, I'm still curious, with a lot of the quote-unquote foreign car companies now having plants in the United States, is there really such a thing as a foreign car? Because you can buy a Honda that was made in Lincoln, Alabama. You can buy a Mercedes that was made just outside of Tuscaloosa, Alabama. You can buy, you name the car, and you can buy one that was made in the United States.
And Toyota is the most American-made car out there.
It is now,
and so I go back to the 80s and 90s, where the American auto industry essentially sucked. I mean, I bought a essentially it was a Mustang, but it was just a souped up Ford. Souped up Ford. What was it?
Well, there was the old joke about Ford that it stands for Fixer Repair Daily.
Found on road dead.
And yeah, I mean, during the 80s and 90s, the auto industry in America went downhill, and the only thing that America did was made it harder to buy what the foreign what the people wanted.
Well, that's not the only thing that happened. The U.S. government bailed out the auto industry back in the 80s. They bailed out the auto industry again in the early aughts.
Rewarding them for failure. Dodger, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate it. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. I would like to know what it was that Donald Trump said. Obviously, we're taking hearsay.
Well, I don't know what Donald Trump said, but I can tell you what's on his website under U.S.-China trade reform.
Okay, yeah, sure.
He says that he wants to bring China to the bargaining table by immediately declaring it a currency manipulator. He wants to protect American ingenuity and investment by forcing China to uphold intellectual property laws and stop their unfair and unlawful practice of forcing U.S. companies to share proprietary technology with the Chinese competitors. He wants to reclaim millions of American jobs by reviving American manufacturing by putting an end to China's illegal export subsidies and lax labor and environmental standards, and strengthen our negotiating position by lowering our corporate tax rate to keep American companies and jobs here at home, attacking our debt and deficit so China cannot use financial blackmail against us, and bolstering the U.S. military presence in the East and South China Seas.
So, to boil down some of what you just said, he wants to
make
try to
America
pressure
great again by putting the military in the South China Sea and bullying China into doing what Donald Trump wants them to do.
He wants to pressure China into doing the America government's bidding or else presumably some sort of trade sanctions against them.
Right, and he keeps talking about this trade deficit. Well, everybody in this room right now and everybody listening has a personal trade deficit with a bunch of companies. I have a trade deficit with where I go and I buy their products. They never buy anything for me. That's a trade deficit.
Yeah, it's a dumb thing. This whole trade deficit idea is ridiculous. I mean, Hong Kong is a perfect example of a country that has a tremendous trade deficit in that they don't actually create anything naturally on the island. Essentially, it's a rock. There's no natural resources whatsoever in Hong Kong. And so everything that they get basically comes from outside of Hong Kong. Yes, some things are manufactured inside of Hong Kong, but the materials used to manufacture those things are all sourced from outside of Hong Kong.
The food that they get comes from outside.
And Hong Kong is, and has been for a couple decades, the number one most economically free place in the entire world. You want to open a business, it's easiest in Hong Kong. You want to, get out there, put your product, your service, your, marketing out there. Hong Kong is the best place in the world to do that, all with a huge trade deficit.
Well, I have to disagree. So, I mean, trade deficits in the long term, the problem is right now we have a $600 billion trade deficit with China, which is about $2,000 per capita. Every year.
I don't see what the problem is.
Well, it's not a problem in the short term, but in the long term, right now we send $600 billion paper dollars to China
and get products
and that's great right now.
Well over $600 billion worth of stuff.
Here's the problem. Those dollars are now in China. If the Chinese central bank or the people who have those dollars decide to spend them and start buying Saudi oil or Japanese cars or Russian aerospace parts, you're going to find the price of oil going from, say, $30 a gallon to $500 a gallon.
Because, you mean a barrel?
A barrel, yeah. Well, so at that point, I say, we ought to get ahead of the curve. So you know how they have the signs where the digital signage? I said they should take the last two digits to make an exponent. So a gallon of gas will be like 10 to the power of $30. So you'll need like...
Yeah, but that stuff doesn't happen in a vacuum. I mean, China's had a tremendous amount of products that they've been sending to the United States for decades.
Yes.
So, I mean, the price of oil is doing just fine.
Well, yes, for now. But the moment... See, there's...
The price of oil now is actually lower than what it was a decade ago.
Yes, and so that's because supply has increased. But what will happen is if the Chinese or the Saudis or the Japanese start spending their dollars that they've accumulated in their central banks, we're going to have a currency run. I mean, it's inevitable. It has to happen. This is going to be the next big panic.
Well, that's not an argument against free trade.
Burn.
Toll-free number 855-450-FREE. We can continue in hour number 2. This is Free Talk Live. Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you're helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
Adam Kokesh has agreed to meet Bernie Sanders in any city in America on any day between now and the end of the year for a friendly debate on socialism versus voluntarism, in which Bernie can choose an objective moderator. To sweeten the deal, Roger Ver, a.k.a. Bitcoin Jesus, has offered that upon completion of a 3-hour debate in which both men have equal time, he will donate a total of $100,000 worth of Bitcoin to the charity of each man's choice, $50,000 apiece. Learn more at bernie.freetalklive.com.
Arcade City is a ride-sharing app built by drivers, not a mega corporation. As a driver with Arcade City, you can keep all of what you earn. Sign up now to drive for or ride with Arcade City at arcade.freetalklive.com. Arcade City is connecting drivers directly with riders and has been making headlines for disrupting the ride-sharing industry. Sign up now at arcade.freetalklive.com. That's arcade.freetalklive.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, July 22nd, 2016. Silver is trading at $19.65 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,323 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $668. Antiwar.com reports Turkey has informed the world that they intend a temporary suspension of their obligations under the European Convention on Human Rights, with Deputy Prime Minister Numan Kurtulmuş saying the nation is following France's example as they did the same thing in November. The suspension is related to the parliament's vote in favor of imposing a 3-month state of emergency. Under the Turkish constitution, the state of emergency can only violate human rights law to the extent that it does not also violate international treaties. The European Convention on Human Rights allows for temporary suspensions in time of war or other public emergencies, though Kurtulmuş says this will only be related to post-coup measures and that normal daily life will not be affected nationwide, at least no more than the nationwide purge already has. Since Friday night's coup failure, Turkey has arrested 9,000 people and sacked some 50,000, including entire industries. All academics are barred from leaving the country now as part of the crackdown. The European Convention on Human Rights bans a broad number of violations, including torture, slavery, and summary executions. It also bars governments from broadly restricting freedom of speech and freedom of association. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports the top illegal file-sharing site for music, TV, and movies in the world has been shut down by the U.S. federal government. Kickass Torrents, an international site where millions of people have shared copyrighted material for free, was run by a 30-year-old Ukrainian, Artem Volin, who was arrested Wednesday in Poland. The bust represents a major effort by U.S. law enforcement agencies to crack down on piracy after years of growing pressure by the country's biggest entertainment companies. The criminal complaint alleges investigators tracked Volin down through legal iTunes purchases he made in July and December of 2015, then through his site's Facebook page. Feds also traced him through his email account he used for those purchases. In the complaint, Kickass Torrents is said to be the 69th most visited site on the entire internet, with an average of 50 million visitors per month. And despite being a hub for illegal trade of copyrighted material, the site allegedly made between $12.5 and $22.3 million from advertising. In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. But Mr. Drake's security company has seen better days. Faced with the prospect of waning power, Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. But at what cost? And can anyone stop him? Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Reuters reports a federal judge on Thursday temporarily suspended a Michigan law that abolished straight-ticket voting, the practice of using one mark to vote for all candidates from one party that was going to take effect in the November general election. U.S. District Court Eastern District of Michigan Judge Gershwin Drain granted a preliminary injunction sought by the civil rights and labor groups who sued Secretary of State Ruth Johnson, arguing the law would keep African Americans from voting. In his ruling, Drain cited a report by Kurt Metzger, regional information specialist with the U.S. Census Bureau, that found that minority voters are more likely to use straight party voting. The Michigan law is among a number of state voting rules that have been fought in the courts ahead of the November election, along with stricter voter identification laws in some states and laws on voting rights of felons in others. In January, Michigan Governor Rick Snyder signed into law a bill passed by the legislature to eliminate straight party voting. Proponents of the law say most states have moved away from the straight ticket voting option. Removing the option urges urges voters to study candidates and encourages voters to make decisions based on criteria other than party affiliation. Drain said the plaintiffs are likely to win their claim that the law violates the 1965 Voting Rights Act because the law reduces voting opportunities for African Americans in the state. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
The FBI has successfully executed a raid on the Visa Corporation, exposing what could be the largest credit card scam in U.S. history. According to authorities, the Visa syndicate for years fooled millions of Americans by issuing convincing-looking credit cards carefully designed to dupe consumers into spending far more money than they had. Investigators believe the fraudulent corporation also lured victims in with enticing rewards programs and free gifts, thereby trapping them in a spiral of debt they could never hope to repay. According to the results of a groundbreaking new study, 96% of humans would rather be a singing, dancing animatronic bear. The study finds that a great majority of people on the planet would prefer to trade in their regular lives for one in which they sat on a plastic log, strummed a banjo, and sang songs on a stage with all their goofy bear friends. Respondents also stated that not being a sentient human being with feelings of doubt, sadness, and pain contributed to the decision.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial in, toll free to join us at 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Whether it's Trump and China, trade deficits, Kickass Torrents, sharing files on the internet. We can talk about all that stuff and have so far tonight. You can also bring up anything you want. With you in the studio this evening, it's me, Ian.
TJ the Spy.
And Darryl.
And we've got Skype. You can join us there at Skype username LRN.FM. Our phone lines are toll-free at 855-450-FREE. We go to the phones, to the fun, and then more about Kickass Torrents, a site that has been targeted and taken out by the federal government just this week. Let's go first, though, to Rusty. He's in Jasper, Texas. You're on Free Talk Live. Rusty.
Hey, guys. Hope you're having a good Friday. I just want to comment a little bit about Trump's speech.
Go for it.
It was just really awkward. You could tell by the audience reaction. These weren't really Republican issues he was speaking towards. He even referenced Bernie Sanders' kind of economic policies, how they shared them. I didn't personally like it. I was a Rand supporter, but it was just, I thought it was horrible. He pretty much referenced law and order, and that means backing the police, not in favor of police accountability, things of that nature. Goes on to kind of demagogue, free trade, and all that stuff. It was just bad. And his daughter, I believe, before him, came out in favor of the government mandating wages for equal pay, men and women, and that didn't go over well. I thought it was just a really awkward speech. I expected more, but it
Well, what
really
did you
doesn't
expect?
seem- Well, I expect them to talk about unity and then tone down some of that. So, like, why would you reference Bernie Sanders at the Republican convention, a national Republican convention?
Well,
Why would you
because
reference that and act
basically
like it's a
he
good
needs
thing?
to point out to the world that he's not Hillary Clinton, and that's basically the only thing he's got going for him.
Well, he's not Hillary Clinton, but he's trying to actively lobby for. I thought he was trying to pitch towards a labor vote a little, or the union vote, by saying, well, we want to get these factories up and going again. Some people are speculating that, well, if he gets the Rust Belt, then he'll win the election. But it was just, I don't think it was a speech that was appropriate for the audience. He just kind of spoke about unity and ideology, being like Republicans are in favor of free trade, free economy, not mandating, not having the federal government mandate what a business has to pay men and women, things of that nature. It just, to me, it came off awkward. It didn't seem like he had a real good grasp of.
Of course it came off awkward because it was probably the first prepared speech that he's delivered in the entire campaign, and he probably did not write it. But I've got a couple of questions for you. You said that you were a Rand supporter. Does that mean that you're a Republican? Do you consider yourself a Republican?
I'm a Liberty Republican, so
okay. He's Rusty's the guy who's called a few times. He went to the Texas Republican Convention and called us to kind of inform us of what the status of secession was there within the Republic.
Okay, so next question is: do you plan on voting for Donald because you fear Hillary?
No, I'm voting for Gary Johnson. I believe 2 Utah delegates also said they were going to vote for Gary Johnson after Trump's speech. But as a precinct chair, I can't really openly support Johnson because then I would lose that position in the Republican Party because you're supposed to.
Too late. You've already done it on national radio.
Well, it presumes that people will be
so,
able to
Mr. John Doe, you are a Republican.
Rusty may or may not be his real name. It does say here in the story, I did a little digging on Trump and China's the China comments last night. It does say he did apparently propose a 45% tariff for Chinese goods.
Oh, dear.
So, yeah, that's not free trade. That's not free trade.
It's not, and people that are defending him, it's just he struck a chord with voters that haven't been talked to, I guess, by either party, but they're out there because he won the primaries. Just they aren't really in tune with the Republican Party how it's been. It's just awkward. The whole thing was weird. Defending Cruz supporters when they're trying to petition, on Tuesday to have a roll call vote, and then condemning Cruz for not endorsing when. Some of the delegates were saying, well, we need unity. Why don't you endorse from the floor? And Cruz refused to. Seemed kind of self-serving. It was just a weird
I just find it all so uninteresting.
I think it's kind of funny that Cruz said, vote for the candidate that's going to support the Constitution, and the Republicans all assumed that he was not talking about Trump. Why would the Republicans nominate somebody to represent, a party that supposedly stands for small government and then automatically know that their candidate is not going to support small government and the Constitution?
Hey, thanks, Rusty, for your interpretations of what happened there, because I sure as hell am not going to sit there through a 75-minute-long speech. So I appreciate hearing from you tonight. The toll-free number, if you want to join us, is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. So whether it's Trump or China or the Kickass Torrents, let's go to, or whatever's on your mind, let's go to Doug. He's in Minnesota. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Doug.
Hey, my party people. How are you?
Hey, what's happening?
Not much. Darryl, I got a couple questions for you.
Okay. I've got a couple answers for you.
Good. I just want you to say the first thing that comes to your mind, okay? So there used to be a game show on TV. It was called Let's Make a
Deal. Monty Python. Monty Hall.
This is Darryl's playing.
Okay, sorry.
Hold on. Okay, one more time, Darryl. Let's make a
deal.
The Superman is known as the Man of
Steel.
If you have something is not fake, it is
real.
And the thing on a banana that you have to take off first is called
kill.
And when you eat food, it's often called
chewing.
No.
Swallowing.
What you prepare for breakfast, lunch, and dinner is called a
meal.
Good. Where do you get this accent from? Because you say things like deal, but it sounds like dill. Steal, but it comes out as still.
Yeah, I don't know.
Notice that about you.
Is that an Alabama thing, or is it something else?
I don't know.
But has anyone pointed that out? It's like every time I hear you talk, it's like
people point it out, and then whenever I try to say it the way people are saying it's supposed to sound, I just sound like some sort of weirdo.
In your own head, though, right?
I don't know. Like I've tried saying steal, and it just sounds
that sounded
weird.
Right.
It sounds weird. It sounds so wrong, and this is why I cannot speak Chinese.
That's correct. So my mom is a speech pathologist, and she, she's done all kinds of speech correction stuff and accent reduction, and so practicing these things, it's just better pronunciation. Every time I hear it just drives me nuts. So has anyone heard anyone else talk like this before? Not that it's crazy.
I don't know.
I have never, if I have, it hasn't really stuck with me or whatever. Darryl's Darryl, and he talks the way Darryl talks. It's okay.
Yeah, Darryl talks in the third
This-
person occasionally. Darryl has even talked in the first, second, and third person in the same sentence because I do that occasionally.
This is what happens with the son of a speech pathologist. I'm obsessed with language and pronunciation and stuff.
All right, Doug.
Anyway, I got to go take care of my meat before it congeals.
All right. Thanks for the call tonight. Appreciate it. Toll-free number 850. He's making fun of you, Darryl.
Oh, I honestly, I thought he said he had to go take care of his knee. And I was like,
No.
why would his knee congel?
I think he said meat.
Oh, okay.
Well, Darryl, to show you that I've read your book, you can't put jelly on the communion bread.
Yes.
Is that how your and Nana said it?
He doesn't really have
that was the Sunday school teacher at the
Sunday.
Okay.
Sunday.
Sunday school?
He did say Sunday school, right?
Sunday school?
Okay. Let's go to Robert. He's in Reno. You're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead, Robert.
Hey, quick comment. Something that I thought you guys might find interesting, considering the church that you're part of. Trump did say that he was going to support and defend people's First Amendment rights to say what they want to in churches on a political matter without losing their tax exemption.
Oh, okay. Well, it doesn't apply to the Shire Free Church because we don't seek the IRS 501c3 status, nor do you need to have that status in order to be tax exempt. These are some of the lies that lawyers like to tell. If you want to hang on, we can talk more about it. It's Free Talk Live.
His hair was falling out in clumps.
Petey stopped eating and all his hair fell out.
Mounds and mounds of fur all over the place. Our hairballs have hairballs.
Our golden retriever, Sundance, he scratched incessantly. There was hair all over. I heard a radio advertisement for Dynovite.
DINOVITE.com.
859-428-1000. The omega-3 fatty acids.
Has shedding, dry skin, excessive scratching. The phone number for Dynovite is 859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Is negative content or comments on the web affecting your personal or professional reputation? Unfavorable comments, embarrassing pictures, videos, legal documents, and negative articles can ruin your personal life, your career, or your business. It happens a lot, and it's just not fair. But what can you do? ReputationDefender.com can help protect your good name. Get a free consultation now. Call 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Call right now for a free expert reputation analysis. It's easy to squash the unfair attacks with our patented system, and the analysis is absolutely free. Make the best things about you jump out in searches. Protect your personal and professional reputation, your business, and your income. Get your free reputation analysis from ReputationDefender.com right now. Call 800-831-0771. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com today.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1. Share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same prices with free Super Saver shipping by going to shop.freetalklive.com. Please do your online shopping at shop.freetalklive.com.
This is your Roberts & Roberts Brokerage Daily Precious Metals Update. In early trading Wednesday, gold is $18 lower at $1,317 per ounce. Silver is 40 cents lower at $19.50 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at $670 US. Talk of a possible Fed rate hike later this year has silver and gold down sharply, making it a great time to buy on the dip. For more information, give us a call at 800-874-9760 or visit us online at rrbi.co.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial in toll free and join us on the radio waves here. The number for you is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Concentrate tonight when you go to bed on the position of your head and neck. In many cases, chronic headaches, neck, and even back pain can be solved with the right pillow. Your spine should be straight and parallel to the floor. My Pillow is designed to fit to the shape of your body and hold your neck in the proper position. I've been using it for a couple of months now. It's been great. I was really glad to get back from San Francisco and get back to My Pillow because hotel pillows are the worst. It
depends on the hotel.
I can't tell you how many times I've been to even a fancy hotel and have woken up with a headache the next morning just because their pillows
The hotels
are
that I've
god-awful.
been staying in, they generally have a large selection. Like they'll have 4 different types of pillow for you to choose from.
I don't know. It looks like it's a big deal, but it doesn't matter to me whether it's the fluffy one or the not so fluffy one at a hotel. It's just a bad night. But My Pillow has been great, and you can even wash the thing in your washer and dry it in your dryer. Try to imagine what your non-washable pillows are like on the inside.
Well, in theory,
several
you
years.
could throw a non-washable pillow in the washer and dryer. You just couldn't use it afterwards.
Right.
These you can actually use after you wash it and dry it.
They are designed for that. And you can get yours with code FTL at 2 for 1 or half off. It's up to you. Go to mypillow.com. And even if, for whatever reason, you don't think it's as great as we're saying it is, you can always send it back. There's a 60-day money-back guarantee. MyPillow.com. Use code FTL. By the way, 10-year warranty on that product. Let's go back to Robert. He's in Reno. And, Robert, you're back on Free Talk Live.
Hey, I've always wondered about that pillow. What if your floor is crooked?
You probably shouldn't be sleeping directly on the floor anyway. It's generally not good for you. So you were calling about 501c3, which is a tax exemption designation, and many churches seek the 501c3, and then later on, if the pastor of the church says something from the pulpit about an endorsement of, let's say, a political candidate or an issue, the IRS can come after them for it. And you were commenting that Trump had promised that he was going to support some sort of change that would allow the churches to be able to speak out on issues and still have their tax exemption. And the thing is, what many churches, and I kind of touched on this, but I'd like to explain it a little further, what many churches don't understand is, and this is because lawyers lie to them about this, lawyers will tell a church, oh, you want tax exemption? Well, then go ahead and hire me, and I'll take you through the 501c3 process, and we'll get you 501c3 tax exemption.
That's a real yawn page turner.
And, there's a process and money involved in all of that, and ultimately...
And it ain't cheap.
Right, and ultimately it gives the federal government control over your message. And that's a very, very disturbing thing. And so there's actually a free church movement, which is one of the reasons why we named it the Shire Free Church, because we agree with the idea of not incorporating with the federal government, not asking the federal government for permission to be a church. Because what it turns out is that you are actually tax exempt by virtue of the fact that you're a church, not because you've asked for some sort of permission slip from the federal government. Further, what a lot of lawyers will tell a church is that if you want people to be able to deduct their contributions to the church, you have to have 501c3. Also false. You can do that. You can deduct contributions to a church just because they are a church. They do not need to be 501c3.
And the IRS even has this in their documentation that you can find on their website. So this isn't,
it's not a theory.
Like some theory that we came up with. Oh, well, if you read here, it says this.
It's
and,
pretty clear.
Paragraph 2 says this, so therefore these other things.
But none of that benefits the attorneys
blah, blah, blah.
out there. So the attorneys will always tell you that you need 501c3. I've yet to see any reason why any church would want to be 501c3 besides the fact that they've been lied to and they just believe falsehoods about that.
How are we on getting tax?
It could be on the size. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, go right ahead.
Go ahead,
I
Robert.
was saying that. Well, I was just thinking maybe it has something to do with the size. Like if you have one of those gigantic Crystal Cathedral type churches that has millions of viewers on TV, maybe it has something to do with the size for protection of a corporation.
No.
Well, I mean, we actually know, like, for one of the reasons, the Shire Free Church, we're not a church here in Keene because we don't have a steeple. That was one of the things the city said. So, I mean, really what it is, they don't want to...
That's actually not what they said. The city has not ever said that the Shire Free Church is not a church. They have said that the property is not used for religious purposes. They have never said, because they've never legally been asked the question, is the Shire Free Church a church? They have never been asked that legal question.
They're not forced to answer
They are not
it.
allowed or required or even forced to answer that question because that is not the legal question before them.
In other words, they're saying it's because it doesn't look like a church, it isn't a church?
Correct.
Well, we've never we're not claiming that the property is a church. It's it's a fellowship hall. It's a parsonage. Every now and then,
house.
Yeah, parish house. Every now and then some church-related, direct religious things happen, meaning there was some meditation sessions that we had here last week, and there have been religious discussions of a variety of sorts. But we didn't specifically request exemption as a church. We requested exemption from property taxes based on the that it is church associated, meaning the parsonage, a place where a priest would stay.
The Shire Free Church meets the New Hampshire legal criteria for being a religious entity, and religious entities can request a property tax exemption in accordance with New Hampshire statutes. Educational places can request exemptions. There's one other civil something another. So like the Fraternal Order of Eagles or whatever it is, they fit the definition to where they can request the exemptions.
Yeah, and basically when they deny us that, we can take it to court, which we have yet to actually go forward with in a meaningful way. Maybe we'll do that this year.
Yeah, if you got $5,000 or $10,000 to spare on an attorney, we are always willing to go.
Which we don't. We don't. Go ahead, Robert. Anything else?
Well, no, that's good to know. I wouldn't have voted for Trump anyway, considering that I personally think he's the real-life coming of Greg Stilson from the Dead Zone. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that 1980s movie where Christopher Walken's character, it's a Stephen King film, right? They're basically saying he came back from a long coma, and then whenever he touches people's skin, he sees the future. Well, you can catch some clips on YouTube of the film where he touches Greg Stilson, this politician's hand, and when he sees the future, he realizes that he forces one of his colleagues into pushing the buttons for the nuclear codes to start a first, into strike. And yeah, personally, I thought I was the one that actually came up with that theory. And of course, I go on the internet and found out that someone came out with that theory a few days before I did. And this was way back when Trump first started getting into office or getting into the election. So yeah, I had no way I would vote for that guy.
Thanks, Robert.
So who do you plan on voting for?
I'm kind of on your guys' side about Gary Johnson. I'm not really for him because, personally, I think you would have been a much better choice. Unfortunately, with the nominations that didn't happen, still a better choice than Trump or Hillary, definitely for sure.
Well, when you say you're on my side with Gary Johnson, I'm not voting for Gary Johnson.
Thanks for the call, Robert.
No.
I appreciate it. I might vote for Gary Johnson just because he's the lesser of the evils, but ultimately, I'm not so excited. It's the local races that matter to me. It's Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. Physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
CopBlock has quickly become the top police accountability group in the United States, and maybe even the world. With chapters across the globe, there's probably a group near you that you can join. If not, you can start your own. Besides joining a local CopBlock group, you can also give just $1 a month to the CopBlock network. Your contribution helps support the efforts of those who make CopBlock possible. So please join the CopBlock network now at copblock.lrn.fm. That's copblock.lrn.fm.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
You know how annoying it is when someone keeps stopping mid-sentence as though he or she were asking you a series of questions? Avoid doing that. It sounds unnervingly tentative, and it imposes upon the listener to help you complete the thought. And if you're a job seeker, this alone could be a deal killer. An effective communicator sounds more confident. Complete the thought. Avoid making the listener impatient. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important. Cutting through the clutter rather than blending into the blah, blah, blah will help you connect better no matter what the conversation. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook. Survivalspeech.com.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You can join us here toll-free and bring up whatever you want. Our number 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype. Skype username is lrn.fm. So join us on the air here. You can talk about whatever happens to be on your mind. With you tonight, it's Ian,
TJ the Spy,
and Darryl.
And also, I want to invite you to support the Free Talk Live satellite fundraiser. It's going on right now. Fund.lrn.fm is the place to go. That's fund.lrn.fm. That'll take you right to our Indiegogo fundraiser campaign page where you can help us out. We've got several people who have donated so far, and just under a month remaining to contribute to it. If you value the ideas of liberty getting into more countries around the globe, we're currently heard on satellite over Central and North America as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. Would love to expand that to include Europe if possible, as well as the Middle East and North Africa. We can do that all with one new satellite, but it's going to cost a little bit. It's going to cost probably about twice as much as our current 2 satellites cost. Or I guess twice as much as one of our 2 satellites, or about as much as both of the current satellites. So it would double our satellite budget, basically, to add that. And if you support the idea of satellite broadcasting, the ideas of liberty, then please go to fund.lrn.fm and help us out. We're currently at just about 3% of the goal at this point. And last year, we didn't reach our goal last year either, so I don't know. I don't realistically expect we're going to reach the goal, but whatever it is that we can raise will be put towards the satellite fund. It will be put towards the current satellites that are operational. If we can reach enough to expand to that 3rd satellite, we certainly will. There are some perks involved as well.
Like naming the satellite?
Yep, you can name the satellite channel, get a satellite sponsorship along with that. You can get an exclusive Platinum Amp pin. You can sit in on your favorite LRN.FM show as they are being produced, including Free Talk Live, Angel Clark, Anarchast, The Don't Comply Show, The Crypto Show, Paul Duane, Godless Liberty, Freedom Fiends, Flaming Freedom, Yumi and BTC, and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. So, Johnny Rocket Launchpad as well. So go there to fund.lrn.fm. Sure to appreciate your contributions. And, of course, there's recognition available for anybody that wants it on our satellite page. We'll put your name up there as one of our satellite sponsors. So, once again, it's fund.lrn.fm. As we continue here, in the very beginning of the story, we talked about Kickass Torrents. We really haven't gotten into why Wired Magazine is saying that the Kickass Torrents case could be huge. The federal government has gone after Kickass Torrents and the purported owner. We'll talk more about that. Evan is on the line, however, via Skype. Evan, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey, what's on your mind tonight?
I just wanted to kind of remind everybody, before Kickass Torrents or Torrents in general, there was peer-to-peer, which is what torrents are.
That's right.
But we had Napster. And the federal government, I guess Sean Murray or whoever, I don't know how the story really added up, but, he got sued, and then Napster went down, and then we didn't have anything for a
Just
while.
one thing real quick, Evan. Napster was not peer-to-peer. Napster was very centralized to where people would send stuff to Napster. It stayed on the Napster server.
Well, from my personal experience, I'm pretty sure I had stuff on my computer that got shared, and I had to upload everything.
Well, hold on, Darryl. So let me correct you here. So Napster was the very first peer-to-peer. So the directory was centralized. Without the directory at Napster, the whole thing wouldn't work. But the actual transfer, if I had like a 5 megabyte MP3 music file on my computer, so I would connect to Napster and let everyone know I had this file. You would connect to Napster, see I had the file. You would get my IP address and connect directly to my computer, and the transfer would go directly from your computer to my computer, never touching Napster.
My understanding was everything ran through Napster.
That was
and that's
Napster.
how they
That's
were able
actually
to
was
get
Napster's
shut down.
defense. They're like, we're not engaging in copyright infringement because no copyrighted material ever touches our servers. That was their argument, and they lost.
And now, with this whole, torrent situation, we keep seeing Pirate Bay get shut down, but unlike Kickass Torrents, they come back. They're like roaches, and I love them for it. But as the years go on, we keep seeing new technology. This whole concept of intellectual property and copyright is just kind of outdated. It keeps us from advancing further and keeps ideas into hands of corporations. But torrents aren't the only the end all be all, because now there's set-top boxes out there, or just how Amazon has their Fire Stick you can plug into your computer or TV. I mean, you can. There are modifications out there that people can go online or eBay and buy, and they can get all their content, like everything. All you gotta do is pay one flat rate fee, and then people customize these
Hold on,
devices.
you're getting all what now? You pay for some sort of hacked Amazon thing?
Yeah, like you can get a USB stick that has like I forget what the program's called, like Mediafire or something like that, where like it essentially takes streams all across the internet and like just shoves them right into your right onto that disk. I mean, right onto your USB drive.
Some of those things, they're taking streams that it's not necessarily legal for you to watch where
Correct.
you happen to be. So you're not, getting the content, quote unquote, legally. It's just helping you find the content.
Exactly. I mean, but which is exactly what torrents are, aren't they? I mean, like, so
right,
I
but
mean,
no,
what's the
it
real...
sounded as though you were saying that these things help you get the content in compliance with copyright law.
No, that wasn't what I was hearing him say. It sounded like what he was talking about is some way to jack Amazon or Netflix's streaming or something like that.
Okay, because when he mentioned Amazon and Netflix, I was thinking, you can pay that $9 whatever it is to Netflix, and you can legally stream.
No. This is a one-time. He said it was a one-time fee, and then you get some piece of hardware that I guess I'm not really sure exactly what you're saying it does. It taps into their streams to other people?
There's tons of like pirate broadcasts or pirate streams out there that these devices connect to.
I see.
So I mean, like if they're trying to, they're really just trying to make an example, and
of course,
I think it's just their fear tactics and like trying to stop pirates or people.
That's the same thing they did with Ross Ulbricht and the Silk Road. They wanted to make an example out of him and strike fear into the hearts of all the darknet market operators, but there's still plenty of darknet markets and thousands upon thousands of listings as we speak right now.
And Ian, I don't know if you remember the great fear from when we were kids was, oh no, people are recording songs off of the radio onto cassette tapes. We have to put an end to this.
Oh no, my mixtape of fucking Queen.
Oh, we can't have you say that on the radio. Thanks for the call tonight, Evan.
No problem, dude.
Toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. That's 8. I don't know what's happening here with the dump button. I tried to press it. I don't know if it was if it was successful. So hopefully it was.
We apologize to anybody who might be listening. Please don't notify the FCC and say that we said a naughty word by act. Well, we didn't say anything, but if a caller says a naughty word on the air, we have to hit the magic button and say dump.
Okay, it looks like it did dump, but the connection disconnected right after that. So
we were talking about this thing, and I've got the Justice Department's report pulled up, or their big long statement to where they say we caught this really bad guy. They're bragging, and they list all of the charges against the guy, and they even have on here several movies that are still in theaters or available or were available on Kickass Torrent. And then the third paragraph from the bottom is the one that just sort of, gets my goat. It says, the charges and allegations contained in the complaint are merely accusations. The defendant is presumed innocent until and unless proven guilty. So after telling the world how much of a horrible guy this is and how basically he deserves to be, drawn and quartered, well, he is innocent until proven guilty.
By the way, the Kickass Torrents site, like every other torrent site, just hosts torrents. I don't know if they actually had a torrent tracker, and trackers aren't even necessary anymore to operate torrents. So all those files that they're talking about are still out there. Yeah. All of those torrents still exist and are available through the variety of other torrent sites. TorrentFreak.com has a list of the top 10 torrent sites. We'll tell you about them on the way. It's Free Talk Live.
Are you searching for your soulmate? Someone you can trust, who will never betray you? Or cooperate with the NSA? Stop searching. With EasyDNS, you found a keeper. EasyDNS does it all. Domain names, web hosting, and managed WordPress hosting. EasyDNS stands up for your internet freedom. And with servers in Canada, they do not cooperate with the NSA. Go to EasyDNS.com. You'll love their services or get a full refund. They guarantee it. And they accept Bitcoin. That's EasyDNS.com.
Adam Kokesh has agreed to meet Bernie Sanders in any city in America on any day between now and the end of the year for a friendly debate on socialism versus voluntarism, in which Bernie can choose an objective moderator. To sweeten the deal, Roger Ver, aka Bitcoin Jesus, has offered that upon completion of a 3-hour debate in which both men have equal time, he will donate a total of $100,000 worth of Bitcoin to the charity of each man's choice, $50,000 apiece. Learn more at bernie.freetalklive.com.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
Free Talk Live.
I have a license. That means you're protected. That's nonsense. Just because somebody has a license doesn't mean anything about their business acumen. It doesn't mean anything about their ability to satisfy their customers.
It essentially means that they paid the state money.
And jumped through
it.
the hoops. Yeah.
And filled out some paperwork.
Exactly. And that's all that the license means. But yet it has this aura of legitimacy to it. Oh, it's a license. And they paid some money to the state, and so therefore they must be a good company. It's absurd.
And absolutely. And what it does is it depletes the pool of people out there that would be doing business in that particular way. You know, they just can't get up the money to get the license. They can't get up the money to get the fancy vans and all that other stuff that's involved in being a contractor or whatever. I'm thinking of plumbers right now, I guess. And different plumbing jobs require different levels of skill. When you're talking about just a regular thing, why can't you have a handyman guy come in and do it? Why does he have to be licensed?
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com. Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live, and you can join us here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You can Skype into the show here. Skype username is LRN.FM. It's Ian, TJ, and Darryl in the studio with you here tonight. And also, don't forget that you can join us online anytime you want at freetalklive.com. We've got a Reddit-based front page, which means that you can submit right there to the front page of the website news stories, YouTube videos, fun stuff, serious issues, whatever it is you think our listeners will appreciate and enjoy. You send it there through our site over at freetalklive.com. And again, it's integrated with Reddit, so it's free to use that feature. It's free to use all the features over at freetalklive.com, whether it's the archives, the camera that we have, the studio cams, and more. It's all totally free, so enjoy at freetalklive.com. As we continue here, we were talking about Kickass Torrents. Wired.com had a story about this. I know, Darryl, was there something else you wanted to add in from the Justice Department, or you pretty much finished that up, right?
No, I covered that where after talking about, how horrible of a guy this is, he deserves to be drawn and quartered and publicly shamed and humiliated. The charges and allegations are merely complaints, and he's presumed innocent. But he's a horrible person!
The story from Wired.com is the irony is almost too much to bear pointing out. According to one lawyer familiar with the ins and outs of copyright infringement, the case could have sweeping repercussions on how torrents are regulated. First, a refresher. If all this talk of torrents sounds so 2006 to you, BitTorrenting is a way to share large files over peer-to-peer networks, and it's frequently used for pirating movies and television shows and music. But it's been in steady decline in recent years, thanks in part to the rise of viable paid streaming options like Netflix and Amazon Video. A recent report from Sandvine pegs BitTorrent as comprising less than 5% of total daily traffic in North America. It's still large enough, though, to have made Kickass torrents a very big business, according to the criminal complaint that the Department of Justice filed yesterday. And in that report, the feds allege that Kickass Torrents is the 69th most visited site on the internet, with over 50 million unique visitors each month. That volume means that not only does the site allegedly cost copyright holders millions by enabling downloads of first-run movies for free, but also that it's able to take in nearly 17 million in additional or in annual advertising revenue. Now, I will challenge the claim that it costs copyright holders millions. Now, Wired does say it allegedly costs them millions because, as we pointed out earlier, there's an argument that the people who are pirating movies are least likely to actually go and purchase them anyway. But further, there's also evidence that people who pirate movies are more likely to buy it later because they've actually seen it and decide they like it and want to support it.
Well, here's my question. How much money do libraries cost book publishers every year?
Excellent
because
question.
You can walk into a library, pick up a book, read it free of charge.
Yep.
And then you return the book, and somebody else can go and pick it up and read it free of charge.
But the government's doing that, Darryl, so it's totally okay. Oh, wait, don't libraries also have movies, too? In fact, I'm pretty sure that the library here has a DVD collection. Oh, I'm sorry, TJ.
Yeah, turning my microphone off so I can't speak. I see how it goes around here. No, actually, I just
forgot to turn it on.
The Keene
that's all.
Public Library, they have a 3D printer now.
Which means you can print out things.
Anything that wouldn't be an AR-15 lower receiver. And although we should try. We should go down there and print an AR-15. Well, Cody Wilson's lower AR-15 receiver.
Print a 3D printer?
We're not quite there yet. At least not the cheapest 3D
Not the
printers.
cheapest 3D. Yeah, it's going to be a little hard if you try to replicate Stratus. But they had a little class, and you can actually go down there, Darryl. So I thought we could make all kinds of wonderful things to
Bitcoin QR codes.
We can do that with a label printer. I mean, I was thinking things like machine gun sear necklaces. So like if you put in a drop-in AR-15 auto sear to turn an AR-15 into a fully automatic weapon, those things are like $32,000. Really, they're a $50 part, and they come with a $31,950 piece of paper from the government that says this is properly registered to you, and you will not go to prison for owning it.
But I think you make a great point, Darryl, about the government's own libraries. The book companies aren't trying to sue the libraries and shut them down.
Right.
Is Gary Johnson going to get rid of public libraries? Like, that would be one of my platforms, is get rid of public schools, legalize gambling, prostitution, all drugs, get rid of libraries. We'd be really popular, don't you think?
Well, and the whole thing about libraries is most people forget that they get a large amount of their funding from private donations. Same thing with museums.
So the kind of popularity combined with a tendency to dismiss valid copyright takedown requests combined to make Kickass Torrents an obvious target for law enforcement. And they were #1 site, so they always like to go after the top dog.
Right.
Websites such as the one seized today brazenly facilitate all kinds of illegal commerce, said Richard Weber, chief of the IRS's Criminal Investigation Unit. He said, quote,
commerce? Really? Allowing people to download something is now considered
illegal commerce? Yeah.
Under Wickard. Okay, go ahead.
He says, quote, we're committed to thoroughly investigating financial crimes regardless of the medium, unquote. Authorities arrested Volin, who is Ukrainian. His name is Artem Volin. In Poland, where he now awaits extradition. The Department of Justice seized 7 domains affiliated with KAT, all of which are currently down. Law enforcement used a warrant to obtain an email and IP address associated with Volin that showed up in multiple iTunes purchases and was used to log into the official KAT Facebook account. That, combined with a Whois and GoDaddy search, a financial trail, and messages that identified Volin's known alias as KAT's purported owner, left investigators with little doubt as to his role in the site.
Can I just give some non-legal advice here?
Sure.
If you're going to run a website where you're doing stuff that might not be legal and you've registered the domain, pay the extra $3 a year for the Whois protection to where it winds up obscuring who you are.
Well, they can still go. I mean, this is the government we're talking about. They can still go to the Privacy Guard people and get that information.
That's why you get a prepaid debit card from your gas station. You pay cash, and then you wait like 90 days, 180 days for the surveillance footage, and then you go to a public library or a public coffee shop using a disposable laptop, and then register your domain.
Or you could also use Bitcoin to fund your account. There are registrars that take Bitcoin.
Yeah.
You use a fake name.
Yeah, you can type in whatever name you want on the DNS information, so you don't even need to use the Whois Guard stuff.
Right, but I'm just saying, like, it's only $3. This guy was allegedly bringing in millions a year.
Right.
He could afford the $3.
Yeah, I agree with you there. But further, I think one of his big mistakes was that he used his email address, purportedly, or whatever the same email address was on iTunes, with the Kickass Torrents Facebook page. So again, using a fake email or a throwaway email address to register the Facebook page would have been a way to do it. Although, why even bother registering a Facebook page anyway for a torrent website? What's the point of that? Is it really necessary? It's not like, that it's the same thing as a regular business.
Right, but if it's one of these things to where you are changing the main URL
from time to time,
you want people to be able to know, hey, just a reminder, we changed from KAT dot blah blah to kickasstorrents dot blah blah.
Well, he could have used his own, Facebook at kickasstorrents.net or whatever. He could have made his own email from his own domain and used that. Now, we don't know if he was using a Gmail or what the service was that he was using to register that.
The email address, according to UPI, was TIRM@me.com.
TIRM, and that is, I guess...
Somehow it's a reference, according to UPI, they're saying it's a reference to a person who runs a pirate site.
I see.
But they don't explain how that's a reference.
So again, he was arrested. If convicted, he faces a maximum sentence of 5 years in prison for each count of criminal copyright infringement and conspiracy to commit criminal copyright infringement, along with 20 years for conspiracy to commit money laundering. But that's a very big if, says Ira Rothkin, a technology-focused lawyer who most notably defended Kim.com during Mega Upload's legal troubles. Authorities shuttered that site in 2012. There are superficial similarities between the two situations. Copyright infringement, a lucrative advertising business, but Mega Upload was functionally very different from KAT. The former allowed users to upload any file, including pirated movies, and create a unique link to share it, while KAT used BitTorrent's peer-to-peer sharing technology. In other words, Mega Upload housed the files itself, but KAT did not. Quote, we're not aware of any case in the history of the United States where hyperlinking or the use of torrent files was ever found to be direct copyright infringement, says the attorney. In my view, without direct infringement, you can't have criminal infringement. Instead, Rothkin says torrent-related copyright cases have historically fallen under the purview of civil courts, saying, quote, there are no content files on Kickass Torrents. They're just linking information. He points to a case like MGM Studios versus Grokster, in which the Supreme Court held that peer-to-peer file-sharing companies could be sued for any infringement that happens under their auspices. We'll tell you more about why Wired says this could be a major decision if it's decided against Kickass Torrents. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733, because then just simply pointing to where the files are would be considered illegal.
For Bitcoin to be ubiquitous, people need to use it. For people to use it, they must have it. How can we get Bitcoin into more hands? Well, tipping might be a great way. What if you could include a bonus Bitcoin tip along with your regular tip to a server? What if that Bitcoin returned to you if unclaimed after 30 days? An attractive business card-sized Bitcoin tip that is easily claimed, gives instructions on wallets, spending, and returns to the user if unused? Tip.freetalklive.com. Tip.freetalklive.com.
Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com, and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Nestle Toll House Morsels, helping you create special moments and memories your family will cherish forever. Visit us at tollhouse.com. You may bake for birthdays and holidays, but why stop there? Sweeten up the rest of the year by designating monthly dessert days. Treat your family to one of their favorites or surprise them with something new. Either way, you'll create a tradition everyone will love. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, July 22nd, 2016. Silver is trading at $19.65 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,323 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $668. Antiwar.com reports Turkey has informed the world that they intend a temporary suspension of their obligations under the European Convention on Human Rights, with Deputy Prime Minister Numan Kurtulmuş saying the nation is following France's example as they did the same thing in November. The suspension is related to the parliament's vote in favor of imposing a 3-month state of emergency. Under the Turkish constitution, the state of emergency can only violate human rights law to the extent that it does not also violate international treaties. The European Convention on Human Rights allows for temporary suspensions in time of war or other public emergencies, though Kurtulmuş says this will only be related to post-coup measures and that normal daily life will not be affected nationwide, at least no more than the nationwide purge already has. Since Friday night's coup failure, Turkey has arrested 9,000 people and sacked some 50,000, including entire industries. All academics are barred from leaving the country now as part of the crackdown. The European Convention on Human Rights bans a broad number of violations, including torture, slavery, and summary executions. It also bars governments from broadly restricting freedom of speech and freedom of association. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports the top illegal file-sharing site for music, TV, and movies in the world has been shut down by the U.S. federal government. Kickass Torrents, an international site where millions of people have shared copyrighted material for free, was run by a 30-year-old Ukrainian, Artem Volin, who was arrested Wednesday in Poland. The bust represents a major effort by U.S. law enforcement agencies to crack down on piracy after years of growing pressure by the country's biggest entertainment companies. The criminal complaint alleges investigators tracked Volin down through legal iTunes purchases he made in July and December of 2015, then through his site's Facebook page. Feds also traced him through his email account he used for those purchases. In the complaint, Kickass Torrents is said to be the 69th most visited site on the entire internet, with an average of 50 million visitors per month. And despite being a hub for illegal trade of copyrighted material, the site allegedly made between $12.5 and $22.3 million from advertising. In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. But Mr. Drake's security company has seen better days. Faced with the prospect of waning power, Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. But at what cost? And can anyone stop him? Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Reuters reports a federal judge on Thursday temporarily suspended a Michigan law that abolished straight-ticket voting, the practice of using one mark to vote for all candidates from one party that was going to take effect in the November general election. U.S. District Court Eastern District of Michigan Judge Gershwin Drain granted a preliminary injunction sought by the civil rights and labor groups who sued Secretary of State Ruth Johnson, arguing the law would keep African Americans from voting. In his ruling, Drain cited a report by Kurt Metzger, regional information specialist with the U.S. Census Bureau, that found that minority voters are more likely to use straight-party voting. The Michigan law is among a number of state voting rules that have been fought in the courts ahead of the November election, along with stricter voter identification laws in some states and laws on voting rights of felons in others. In January, Michigan Governor Rick Snyder signed into law a bill passed by the legislature to eliminate straight-party voting. Proponents of the law say most states have moved away from the straight-ticket voting option. Removing the option urges voters to study candidates and encourages voters to make decisions based on criteria other than party affiliation. Drain said the plaintiffs are likely to win their claim that the law violates the 1965 Voting Rights Act because the law reduces voting opportunities for African Americans in the state. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Americans everywhere are enjoying their Sundays after successfully completing Mother's Day in less than 20 minutes this morning. Dads were able to wrap up breakfast in bed by 9:18 a.m., giving them plenty of time to mill about the garage for the rest of the afternoon. While children who spent a minute and a half this morning hugging their mothers are currently out playing street hockey. And after completely fulfilling their Mother's Day obligations with a store-bought card, teens are now free to leave and spend the day with their friends. The moms, who were quickly and efficiently lavished with cards, flowers, assurances of love, and 7 full minutes of family togetherness, praised the competency with which the holiday was carried out.
Oh, it was great. Charles and the kids made me feel completely appreciated, but they ended the holiday before I even got out of bed. Guess I'll go water the plants now.
But before the day-long celebration concluded early this morning, moms had their own job to do, making a brief, obligatory phone call to their own mothers.
This is the Onion News Network.
It's Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live.
You can bring up anything you want right here, toll free, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype on into the show. Skype username is LRN.FM. Tonight, it's Ian,
TJ the Spy,
and Darryl.
We've been discussing Kickass Torrents, the latest torrent website to have been taken out by the federal government. The purported owner of the site has been arrested in Poland. His name is Artem Voilin. The story at Wired.com says this may be a very big case because one of the things about torrents is that, yeah, they allow people to download illegal movies and music and video games and programs and things like that. But the torrents themselves are very, very small files. They're just a few kilobytes. They're not very large at all. They just have some information that allows your computer with a torrent program like uTorrent or whatever to go and acquire the actual files in question. So Kickass Torrents never once actually hosted a single illegal file. They never had a music file or a movie or something like that on their server. But nonetheless, that's not stopping the government from going after this guy. And so they're interviewing over at Wired magazine Ira Rothkin. He's a technology-focused lawyer who actually defended Kim.com when he was under attack by the federal government during their legal troubles over at Mega Upload. And by the way, I believe Kim.com is currently retooling his website for a new launch, which is very exciting. He's got some cool stuff in the works, as usual. But he says there's no content files in Kickass Torrents. They're just linking information. He pointed to a case of MGM Studios versus Grokster, in which the Supreme Court held that peer-to-peer file-sharing companies could be sued for any infringement that happens under their auspices. Quote, one infringes contributorily by intentionally inducing or encouraging direct infringement, and infringes vicariously by profiting from direct infringement while declining to exercise the right to stop or limit it, wrote since-retired Justice David Souter in the unanimous Supreme Court opinion. That latter phrase certainly seems to apply to Kickass Torrents, which Rothkin says is all the more reason it should be a civil, not criminal case. In fact, Rothkin says it's possible that authorities are using the Kickass Torrents case as a test case to exert greater control over how torrents are regulated. He says that there's no doubt that this has the telltale signs of a test criminal case. If the defense prevails, then the Department of Justice can point to this scenario to tell Congress that there may need to be an update to the criminal copyright laws. And if Kickass Torrents loses, then there's now legal precedent to bring criminal charges against torrent website operators. The most famous precursor to this case, which is the Pirate Bay, their operator was tried in Sweden, and it was a joint criminal and civil procedure. As for the domains, those listed by the Department of Justice all appear to be down, but a cursory Google search turns up at least one active site that appears to be an unofficial mirror of Kickass Torrents. It's just one of several sites claiming to house a copy of the website, many of which may simply be password traps, as Torrent Freak notes. Individual users of KAT, while it existed, likely don't have much to fear in terms of criminal liability. It's very hard to prove direct infringement in the context of a torrent site. Still, proceed with caution, says Wired. To the extent, says their expert, that anyone is acting in a way that's risky, it would be likely that the site's being highly monitored by a governmental authority. In other words, now's not a great time to use Kickass Torrents or to be the guy who allegedly ran it. And if the case ends with a conviction, it's going to be a bad time for torrents all around. What do you think, TJ? You're our resident legal expert. Is this guy going to go to prison? And
yes.
Okay.
Okay, so here's the problem. If you take something that's copyrighted and you make an unauthorized copy of it, the moment you accept something of value in exchange for that unauthorized copy, so it doesn't matter if software, book, if I photocopy a book off my shelf and I can give it to you, that's on questionable ground. But one that I'm not authorized to duplicate, unlike this book right here, which Joe Jar. Yes, I have yet to read Joe's book. Anyway,
what's the book called?
It's called Flight Grounded, Department of Civilian Oversight by Joe Jarvis.
But Darryl, you handed him that book, but it's not really copyrighted, is it?
No, it's copyrighted.
Not under Darryl's label. I suspect it's not.
I did not publish that.
Oh, really? Oh, okay, because I know you published one of Joe's books.
I published his first novel.
It has the little C right there with the
Joe
2016.
Jarvis, how could you?
I know. We're going to have to chat with that young man about BitCot licenses and so forth.
Now, Darryl, are any of your books copyrighted that you've published?
Not to my knowledge. I believe they're all under Creative Commons.
I thought you did Copy Heart.
Well, so that there's some stuff that is public domain that like I can't claim any kind of whatever. But generally, I will put Creative Commons and Copy Heart both.
What is Copy Heart for listeners that don't know?
Copy Heart is something that was created by Nina Paley. She's best known for the jingle "Copying is not theft."
Mm-hmm.
And basically what it says is, like copying is a form of flattery, and it's, a loving thing to do, and love should not be subject to law. So go ahead, make copies of it, because
anyway,
copying is not theft.
If I were to give you my Netflix password or something, make a copy of a movie for $1 or $2, that's probably not, that's technically a violation of Title 17, United States Code, Section 501, 506, criminal copyright infringement.
If you gave him a copy of something and he made you a sandwich,
yes,
and
that's
it
something
was
of value.
not, I will give you the sandwich in exchange for, but it happened on the same day or within a couple of hours,
most of
the
these
feds would probably say that was some sort of consideration.
It comes down to these laws are very vague, and it comes down to a lot of people violate the laws, but when you get it, a lot of the case comes down to he's a evil person type arguments.
Yeah.
So this guy is evil because not only was he copying without permission,
but he made money off.
Of it, and not only a little money, like $5,000, $10,000. He made millions.
But he didn't copy anything without permission. He just put up a website where people could upload torrents.
he knowingly or should have reasonably known that there was criminal activity or unauthorized copying undergoing, so I mean, that's one of the arguments.
So
with
conspiracy.
Conspiracy. 18 U.S.C. Section 371 conspiracy is a very dangerous law because I don't have to do anything overtly illegal to do serious prison time. So, for example, if you, Darryl, and me, we all say, let's go rob a bank. Well, if
Nope.
I'm
out.
Okay. Well, that's the first element, a meeting of the minds to commit a felony against a person of the United States. So that's conspiracy. And then the second thing you need is an overt act in furtherance of the conspiracy. So if it was just myself, I can go out and buy all the ski masks. I can buy a gun to rob the bank. I can surveil the bank, take all the photos I want. As long as I don't actually cross the line and go in with the gun and rob the bank, I'm pretty on solid legal ground. The moment I conspire with somebody and we say, let's go rob the bank, and you go out and you take one picture, or you go out to Walmart and you buy one ski mask, that is one act in furtherance of the conspiracy. And juries don't really distinguish between we were going to rob the bank and we just bought a ski mask versus we went in. I mean, so like a lot of juries, they just say, well, you were going to rob the bank, but you backed out at the last moment. You're still guilty of something, is how the jury's going to read it.
Let me ask this question. Let's say that you decide you're going to go buy some ski mask. You never talk to anybody
Correct.
about what is going to happen with the ski mask.
So there's no meeting of the minds.
No meeting of the minds, but you have the ski mask. You set the ski mask down in a place that you know, like a roommate or somebody will see it.
Yeah.
And you have a note that says, if you are to do X, then here's a ski mask you could use. Would that be conspiracy? Even though there was no meeting of the mind, you're just saying, hey, if you're going to go do something illegal, wear a ski mask, maybe. And here
Mr.
is
Darryl W.
one.
Perry, I'm going to ask you a few questions. Do you routinely leave ski masks out for people to rob banks in your apartment?
I don't have an apartment.
So I would set that up a little better. But because Darryl's being a little difficult. But a lawyer, if you can argue that to a jury with a straight face and you think they'll believe you, go for it. I'm just telling you my experience. 12 common sense citizens, if they hear that you plan to rob a bank and that you were going to do it and you bought a ski mask, but you got cold feet at the last moment, they might say, okay, well, we'll give you...
Well, it does snow in New Hampshire, and if you're not wearing thick enough socks, your feet will get cold in the wintertime.
Yeah.
Socks don't help me that much. Feet just get cold. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. I'd like to say there are masks in this home, but they're only intended to be used for legal purposes.
Lawful purposes,
Like
yes.
protesting.
Well, even that can be a questionable...
Or keeping your nose warm.
In New York City, it's illegal to wear a mask during a riot, so you can't wear a helmet, anything to protect yourself.
In some
but
places,
the cops wear masks and helmets all the time in riots.
In some places, it's illegal to wear a mask anytime, anywhere, with the exception of like Halloween. 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. You can join us here. Share your thoughts on piracy. It's Free Talk Live.
Arg.
People who can afford a LASIK procedure sure are lucky. Imagine being able to throw away your contacts and glasses. Imagine waking up tomorrow with 20/20 vision. Too bad everyone can't afford LASIK. Well, guess what? There's a company that agrees with you. TLC Laser Eye Centers is now offering great prices on high-quality LASIK to make it affordable for everyone. That means you get the latest FDA-approved all-laser LASIK technology for less than what others charge. And if you call right now, we'll schedule a free appointment so you can discover if LASIK is right for you. Results may vary. Call 1-800-930-9765. Even better, if you're one of the first 100 callers, ask about an extra $400 off your all-laser LASIK procedure. That's $200 off per eye. We've already performed over 2 million procedures. Let us help you. Discover how you can get the quality LASIK experience you deserve for less than what others charge. For your free appointment, call 1-800-930-9765. 1-800-930-9765.
To a professional trader in precious metals, the key is spot price. Spot price is market price, what gold or silver actually costs on the exchange. Regular people looking to invest never get spot price because resellers add fees for everything. Refining, minting, brokerage costs, commissions. The public is never offered spot price until now. In a limited new customer outreach, JM Bullion offers you the chance to own a 10-ounce bar of pure silver at spot price. No fees, commissions, markups, not even a shipping cost. Now, through JM Bullion, own the most real investment of all at real cost. Not a piece of paper from Wall Street or a bank. A 10-ounce bar of silver at spot price. That's a solid investment. But you must act now. Go online to realpricesilver.com for this limited time offer. That's realpricesilver.com. Realpricesilver.com.
Tim Kaine is in many ways.
States only.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm.
Are you a political activist who does things that the government might not like? Then this free ebook may save your life. Rats is your guide to protecting yourself against snitches, informers, informants, agents provocateur, narcs, finks, and similar vermin. Rats was written by OG libertarian Claire Wolfe. Rats is a short book, easy to read, and available free in many formats. Download Rats free at rats-nosnitch.com. That's rats-nosnitch.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial toll-free and join us here at 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype. Our Skype username is LRN.FM. Joining you in studio, it's Ian.
TJ the Spy.
And Darryl.
And coming up in just about a month from now, it's HempFest, NH HempFest, the 3rd annual. First one for me, though. I've never been to New Hampshire HempFest before. I'm super excited to go because Free Talk Live is going to be broadcasting live from the event. It's August 25th through the 28th. That's a Thursday through Sunday at Rogers Campground. Incredibly beautiful location. Highly recommend you join us for it if you can make it up there. You do need to have the VIP ticket to get in to see Free Talk Live broadcasting live, but it's not that much more expensive for VIP. Even if you can't afford VIP, not a problem. We're still going to be hanging out at the campground all weekend long, so we'll be looking forward to meeting you. NHHempFest.com. That's NHHempFest.com. As we continue here, you can share your thoughts with us about whatever's on your mind. Let's go. Oh, by the way, coming up, book virgins. I definitely want to hear about book virgins. Since we've been talking about movies and music, what about reading? Well, apparently young people today are less and less likely to have ever read, they're less likely to have ever read a book in their lives. First up, though, Sarah is in Albuquerque. You're on Free Talk Live with Ian, TJ, and Darryl. Hello, Sarah.
Well, yes. Here in Albuquerque, we did have some very interesting elections. We had voted on the abortion. We had a poll survey on marijuana. We voted on mental health. I voted for wage increase 3 times, state, city, and county level. And they have asked for money for public transit. I voted on that like 3-4 times. And, of course, we had the election on red light cameras.
You're only supposed to vote once per election, right, Sarah?
I think she's saying that they've brought the question up numerous times.
I see.
Not that she went and grabbed multiple ballots and committed voter fraud, because that would be a very naughty thing to do.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, at least 4 times I mean, on the ballot, city election, national election, they asked for, do you want money for public transit? That was asked at least 3-4 times. And now they were collecting 40,000 signatures to put the rapid transit on the November. And I'm thinking to myself, how can we get 40,000 signatures in 2 months so that we could vote on it in November when Mayor Berry, he's already bought the buses already, and they're chopping down all the trees.
So what you're referring to is something you've called about before, the Area Rapid Transit or whatever it stands for. It's some sort of federal government grant, some kind of program that the city of Albuquerque is accepting in order to tear up a major thoroughfare and put in basically a trolley or some sort of bus in the middle of the street. And businesses and people who travel there, who drive, are very upset about this. People like you who love government subsidies, you love the idea. And so maybe you've got, I don't know what's going to go on the ballot in November. Maybe it's a proposal to reject this art thing, because a lot of people are very, very upset about it.
Yeah, that is the question. But the thing is, what's bewildering is the buses are already bought. It's battery.
Well, they can sell them. They can sell them off, because it's not too late. Just because the program's already been approved, it doesn't mean the government can't stop the wheels from turning, so to speak, here and put a halt to this thing, if that's what people are demanding.
My question is, since when do they respect? I mean, how often does the lawmakers really honor the wishes of the voters?
Very seldom. It's very rare that they will honor the voters' wishes.
It really depends on whether or not it's a binding referendum, whatever's voting on. Sometimes there's non-binding referendums, which means they're just asking people's opinions and they're going to do whatever the hell they want to do. There are times when it's a binding referendum, like the tax and regulate cannabis amendments that went through in Colorado and Washington.
Thanks, Sarah, for your call tonight. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. You can join us here, 855-450-3733. So I did say I had the top 10 most popular torrent websites. This according to torrentfreak.com. According to the site, this is the most popular in 2016. Number 1, Kickass Torrents, which is now down. It's gone. The federal government have attacked Kickass Torrents. Yeah, maybe it will come back. Maybe there was more than just one person behind that website, but they did target one man in particular for that. Number 2, the Pirate Bay site says that the Pirate Bay is one of the main piracy icons. The torrent site wasn't online at the beginning of 2015 and had to deal with a staff revolt. However, it quickly regained millions of users after a successful comeback, operating from a hydra of domain names until last week.
To quote LL Cool J, don't call it a comeback. They've been here for years.
It's true. The Pirate Bay is a real mainstay in the area of torrents. Number 3, Extra Torrent continues to gain more traffic and has become one of the most active torrent communities. The site is also home of the popular ETTV and ETRG release groups.
Phone Home.
What's a release group, TJ?
That I have no idea.
Oh, all right. Well,
you stumped me.
I can explain something I know that TJ doesn't know.
Yes, it happens from time to time.
So the release groups are the people who rip the videos from like not YouTube, but from the channels that broadcast them. So if it's on AMC, The Walking Dead, or whatever, one of these release groups will record it. They will then upload that recording or they'll create a torrent of that recording, upload the torrent to the various different torrent websites with their name attached to it, so they get the credit for being sort of the first to the illegal marketplace with that particular stuff. Sometimes they will take shots at one another, because if they record video, but the video tracks, let's say, off from the audio, so after 5 minutes of watching the video, all of a sudden it's no longer synced, the mouths are moving at the wrong time for the actual audio, another release group will then upload what they call a proper version, and then they'll take a strike in the NFO file, because sometimes there are text files that are distributed with it where the release group sort of brags about who they are and how long they've been in the game or whatever, and then they'll take a shot at the other release group who botched up the other other release. So
okay,
yeah. So there have been these groups not just in the area of video releases, but also, of course, there have been crackers for a long time that have cracked video games since way back in the 1990s, for instance. And some of those groups are still around today. Number 4 on the list of top 10 most popular torrent sites of 2016, just to show you that torrents are not going anywhere simply because one of the sites has been taken offline. Number 4, Torrents with a Z. Torrents has been the leading BitTorrent meta search engine for many years. Unlike the other sites featured in the list, Torrents does not host any torrent files or magnet links, but redirects visitors to other places on the web. The site uses several domain names, with .eu being the most popular. Torrents.eu, so this is a smart move on their part. They are sort of like the Google of torrents, if you will, in that these other websites actually host the torrent files. But of course, as we pointed out earlier, torrent files aren't the actual movies or music. They're just the instructions to the computers to how to get those movies or music.
Right, but I think that what they're doing here is really, really smart.
Right.
To where it gives even more plausible deniability to where we've never had any documents on our computer at all.
Yeah, we just search the other sites. The toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. There's a few more. We'll give you the top 10 list on our Facebook and Twitter if you want to explore it for yourself. Coming up, book virgins. Darryl's going to tell us what that means and how many of them there are. It sounds like a scary story.
Worried about lead, fluoride, and other contaminants in your drinking water? Get a ProPure with the Pro 1G 2.0 cleanable reusable filter and remove up to 200 contaminants. Drink water the way nature meant it to be. Clean, crisp, and refreshing. See the complete line of ProPure products, including the new ProMax shower filter. There's a ProPure for you. Visit your authorized ProPure dealer for details or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Is spreading the message of liberty and peace around the globe worth 15 cents per day to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as sub-Saharan Africa. Last year, we did a fundraiser that successfully covered the costs of continuing our African channel. This year, we're hoping to raise enough to fund a new satellite signal that will cover Europe, North Africa, and much of the Middle East. You can donate as much or as little as you like via the Indiegogo campaign at fund.lrn.fm. And there are perks available like sitting in on your favorite LRN.FM show, exclusive shiny badges, or even naming a satellite channel. Please contribute now at fund.lrn.fm and help us continue our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. The fundraiser ends August 19th, so please visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. That's fund.lrn.fm.
This is your Robertson Roberts Brokerage Daily Precious Metals Update. In early trading Wednesday, gold is $18 lower at $1,317 per ounce. Silver is 40 cents lower at $19.50 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at $670 US. Talk of a possible Fed rate hike later this year has silver and gold down sharply, making it a great time to buy on the dip. For more information, give us a call at 800-874-9760 or visit us online at rrbi.co.
DVD, books, music, instruments, periodicals, computers, software, electronics, photo, cell phone, office products, home and garden, bed and bath, furniture, kitchen, pet supplies, automotive, hardware, apparel, shoes, jewelry, grocery, healthcare, sports and outdoors, toys, games, used, and more. It's a department store at your fingertips. Shop.freetalklive.com. Get all your shopping done, get a great deal, and a portion of your purchase goes to benefit Free Talk Live when you enter Amazon via shop.freetalklive.com.
Okay, nurse, let's get this man to the ER stat.
Right away, doctor.
We see this every day. Heart attack or angina pain due to blocked and clogged arteries. Chelation can remove obstructions or blockages from arteries and help avoid painful and expensive surgery. Now there's Angioprim. It's a liquid oral chelation product that you take with juice. You start to feel the results fast. Angioprim increases blood flow all over the body, and that means more energy and strength to take on the day with less aches and pains. 60 years of research has gone into chelation, and Angioprim is the result. A safe and easy way to unblock your veins and arteries from buildup that slow circulation.
Paging Dr. Jones. Please report to the emergency room right away.
Log on now for a special radio offer from Angioprim. That's angioprim.com/radio. ANGIOPRIM. Angioprim.com/radio or call 877-882-7221. That's 877-882-7221.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live, and you can take control of the airwaves here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Joining you in studio tonight, it's Ian,
TJ the Spy,
and Darryl.
Want to let you know about our audio on-demand listen line. You can call up to 641-793-9660 and listen to the Liberty Radio Network, as well as about a dozen of the LRN original shows, including Free Talk Live, on demand, whenever you want to listen. It's your schedule. Go to call them up at 641-793-9660. It is a long-distance number, so if you still pay long-distance charges, then they may apply. But if you got an unlimited plan, like pretty much everybody does, then it will cost you nothing but the battery time that it costs to dial this up if you're on a cell phone. If you're on your home phone line, it probably won't cost you a darn thing. But anyway, you should know your own plan, so you have to deal with that. There's close to a dozen of these great shows on there, like the Freedom Fiends, Angel Clark, the Rebel Love Show, Cop Block Radio, and more. You can call up and, of course, listen to the LRN.FM live stream through this as well. And you can leave a message for Free Talk Live and the other shows by pressing 0 once you start listening. So if you call up 641-793-9660, press 2 for Free Talk Live, and then you can press 0 anytime you want if you want to leave us your feedback, which we might just use on the air. So again, that phone number is 641-793-9660. It's a great way to save some data too if you're close to your maximum on your data plan,
or if you have a dumb phone.
Correct, dumb phones. This is perfect for dumb phones. So 641-793-9660. You can bring up whatever's on your mind here on Free Talk Live, and you can join us via Skype. Our Skype username is LRN.FM. We've been talking about the takedown of Kickass Torrents, but since we've been discussing media, we kind of got into a short discussion about books a few moments ago and publishing, and you had a story, Darryl, that introduced me to a new term, book virgin.
Yes.
Where is it from?
This comes from intellectualtakeout.org, and they say that many college students are, in fact, book virgins. They begin by saying to gain admittance to college in the 17th century, students had to be able to read and translate various Latin authors on sight. 100 years ago, students were required to have read various classical works before being admitted to college. Today, however, many American students are being admitted to college without ever having read a book from start to finish.
Oh, my.
They are part of a cohort of students known as book virgins.
So now when you say book virgin, are you meaning that they haven't read the story within the book, or are you saying they haven't read the medium of a physical paper book? So I could envision
from start to finish, they have not finished an entire book.
That they have read bits and pieces of a book, but they have not read an entire book
in their whole life.
Wow, because really, that's the amazing thing. Books used to be like in the Middle Ages. You'd have to have a human copy them physically. So a book would be like $25,000 because you would take a whole year to copy the Bible or whatever book the monk was copying. You'd have to feed him and clothe him and heat his room while he copied that book for you. So
until the printing press.
Until Gutenberg's printing press, when then a Bible went from $25,000 equivalent in modern day currency to like $500. so wealthy people could own them instead of just the insanely wealthy.
So we had a bunch of book virgins back then, and so we're kind of going back to the past. Is what you're saying there.
And but I mean, that's the thing is like, you can always read To Kill a Mockingbird or A Separate Piece or Pride and Prejudice. You just go online, you go to your used bookstore, and for like $3 or $4, you get like a lot of entertainment. They're very economical, and they're wonderful ways of expressing ourselves. But
these people aren't illiterate. They can go on a website and read stuff. They can read. They just don't read books.
Right. Okay. So the National Association of Scholars has pointed out this phenomenon in their recent report titled Beach Books. What do colleges and universities want students to read outside of class? The report offers a detailed assessment of the books that colleges across America recommend to their students before they begin classes in the fall. The reading level of these books is oftentimes very low, meant to cater to the group of students who are book virgins. The report says the desire to appeal to incoming students who have rarely, if ever, read an adult book on their own led selection committees to choose low-grade, accessible works that are presumed to appeal to book virgins.
Like Sesame Street.
Not
Berenstain
necessarily.
Bears.
Sure.
Or Berenstain Bears. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, the whole Mandela effect. We've talked about that with Conan on the show, and I'm convinced that Conan's part of that alternate universe where he just makes everything up.
For listeners who don't know, there's some controversy over whether or not the Berenstain Bears were Berenstein Bears or Berenstain Bears, either an E or an A.
And then it got changed in, some
what,
sort
did
of
one sound a little bit too
glitch.
Jewishy, and they were like, no, the Jim
It is that apparently
there was a glitch in the Matrix, and we're now living in an alternate reality, and a bunch of people have a false memory.
Many people remember from their childhood.
Yeah, I remember the
Berenstain Bears.
Yeah. Papa Bear, Mama Bear. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Stein. However, if you actually go and look at the Berenstain Bears, you'll see that it's spelled Berenstain, Stain.
Okay.
And so there's a conspiracy theory that says basically that it did say EIN when we were kids, and that somehow we've shifted into some sort of alternative universe that where it's the Berenstain Bears. Now, of course, the Berenstain Bears people say it's always been Berenstain, but there are a lot of people with a collective memory that says it was Berenstain.
No, actually, I remember this. When I worked at the NSA, we had to break into the Library of Congress, and all those copies of the books that said Berenstain Bears, we had to pull them out of the shelves and replace them with identical copies that said Berenstain Bears, and all the card catalogs and the databases and every Barnes and Nobles across the country.
Orwellian memory hole.
I mean, yeah, I remember that clearly when we had to do the Berenstain job. I think it was Operation Honey Trap, I believe.
But no one ever called it Berenstain when I was growing up.
No, it was always Berenstain Bears.
I never called it Berenstain. I called it the Bernstein Bears.
Really?
I never realized that there was a vowel after the R and before the N.
But even then, Bernstein would still have been a mispronunciation of the end of the word.
Right.
So I think what it was people mispronounced it, and so because it was so mispronounced, people thought it was spelled differently. But
right, and when we were talking about this on the show a couple months ago, I pulled up a thing of where people mishear song lyrics, people misquote books.
Excuse me while I kiss this guy.
Yeah, and then there's a bunch of stuff like in Casablanca. At the very end, everybody thinks that he says, "Play it again, Sam," and that's not what he says.
What does he say?
Ready? Play it, Sam. Play as time goes by.
But everybody thinks he says, "Play it again."
Yeah, I've never seen it, so I wouldn't.
You've never seen Casablanca?
No.
I've never seen it.
I know what we're doing tonight.
But no. I don't want to know what you're doing with Ian tonight. This is a family radio show. But no, people misremember movie quotes all the time, and nobody counts that up to glitch in the Matrix. Back to the article about book virgins. The report from the National Association of Scholars says that the selection of low-grade accessible works to appeal to book virgins who will flee actual college-level reading, such book virgins have to be wooed with simple, unchallenging works. And how many book virgins are there among entering college freshmen? According to David Randall of the NAS, who drew upon NEA and Pew statistics, about 4 million, which represents 20% of incoming freshmen. 1 in 5 freshman is a virgin, a book virgin.
Yeah.
Sadly, these students have discovered that they can receive adequate and even good grades in high school without ever reading a page of their assigned text.
So I think that we can blame the government for this one because they have been shoving books down kids' throats for years. That makes reading very unfun. When reading is a mandatory assignment, it is something that people, at least people like me, will push back against. I did not like it when I was told to read books in school, and so therefore I did not. I never read a single one that they ever assigned me, with the exception of one.
Which was?
Which was Anthem by Ayn Rand, and that was only because it was short.
Okay.
That's the only reason I read that one. Toll-free number is not because I couldn't read or didn't like to read. I liked to read. I had read books. I had books of my own at home that I was interested in, but I didn't like to be told to read. The toll-free number here is 855-450 for your thoughts on book virgins. Welcome.
Every once in a while, you get information that's worth changing your life for. This is one such time. You can save up to and beyond 25% on all purchases at Amazon. You probably heard of Bitcoin and just not thought much about it. You certainly know that you can get competitive pricing at Amazon, but now you can get a 25% discount on nearly everything you need to live. I've just given you a huge raise, and all you have to do is claim it. You go to saveitpurse.com and open an account. Do this right now. Don't wait. Then you fund the account with Bitcoin. You can buy them through expresscoin.com with a check or money order. There are other ways to get Bitcoin, but that's fast, safe, and easy. This information is worth you changing the way you do things. Go to saveitpurse.com right now, get signed up, and cash in on the huge raise I'm offering you. 15 to 25% off of everything at Amazon through saveitpurse.com. It's saveatpurse.com.
Dangerous blood clot device alert. If you or a loved one had an IVC filter placed to prevent blood clots from traveling to your heart or lungs and suffered an injury, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA warns that IVC filters may cause serious complications, such as heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, and even death. These dangerous blood clot devices can break, and the metal fragments can travel to your heart or lungs, causing serious injuries. If you or a loved one suffered organ damage or other injuries from an IVC filter, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. This is an advertisement. Paid non-attorney spokesperson. InjuryHelpDesk.com is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1. Share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
If you want to move to the free state and you're looking for some real estate.
Oof, I think we've all had enough of that jingle, don't you? If you're going to invest in property in New Hampshire, it just makes sense to support a liberty-friendly realtor. Call Mark Warden of Team Porcupine Real Estate for investment property or rentals in the Free State, or visit his website. Come on, you know it.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up whatever you want. Just dial in toll-free here at 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype. The Skype username is lrn.fm. And if you support Free Talk Live and you like what we're doing here on this program, then please become an amplifier today at amp.freetalklive.com. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. And the idea is your $5 a month is something we can invest into Free Talk Live, helping us get on more radio stations all around the country, bringing internet listeners on board, exposing new people to our ideas of freedom, liberty, and peace. So if that's valuable to you, if it's worth the cost of a cup of fancy coffee every single month, then please join the Free Talk Live AMP program. You'll get perks like access to the AMP-only call-in lines, the AMP-only Facebook group, as well as the AMP-only podcast. Get the details. Get signed up with any major credit card through PayPal or use Visa or MasterCard right there on the website. Head over to amp.freetalklive.com, amp.freetalklive.com. As we go to the phones and to the fun, more about book virgins on the way here. Shocking numbers of new college students have never finished an entire book.
Never read a book from front to back.
Well, is there really a problem with that? I mean, if they're not reading the books and they're still getting good jobs and making lots of money, I say, well...
College students aren't really getting great jobs. I mean, many of them are just working as
fighting
waiters.
for 15.
Let's go to your calls and thoughts. Rudy is on the line in Bullhead, Arizona, listening to K-Talks. Hello, Rudy.
Hello. Just on the subject of book virgins, that's so sad.
It is.
There's nothing like. I mean, hopefully everyone's had a book where you couldn't wait to get back to it. I mean, just the next 20 minutes free, I'm going back to my book because you're in the middle of wherever you're at, and it's exciting when you're in the middle of whatever.
Yeah, a page turner, as they call it. These college students wouldn't even know what that means.
Well, I know I have a pretty good idea where me and my older brother got it from, because there was three boys in the back of a 52 Ford station wagon, always in the road. And there was a time when I remember growing up, and my father and mother, my dad was like a Jack London kind of guy, and my mom was not. But they, driving, and they would talk about books that they're reading back and forth. And, sitting in the back seat of the car, and you hear them talking about the story that they're reading. And you realize, wow, these books are really something. There's all kinds of stuff in there. Mm-hmm. And it turned me on to the idea of a book. By the time my younger brother got to be that age, my mom and dad were already in the splits. So they didn't talk about books anymore. Needless to say, my younger brother doesn't read at all. And I don't know if it's a clue or whatever, but it sure worked for me. I mean, I got to where it's exciting to read a book.
Yeah.
If it's not like you said.
I wonder I wonder how long this survey has been going for. Is there an indicator about that, Darryl? Like, is this the first year they've done this?
The Beach Books report that they did was marked here between 2014 and 2016.
But do we know if there was one in 2012, 2010?
It doesn't say.
Because it would be interesting to see if that's changed over the years. I mean, maybe this isn't anything new. Maybe 1 out of 5 college students has, for time immemorial, been completely...
No, because they mentioned 100 years ago that college students, in order to be admitted into college, you were required to have read various classical works.
Okay.
In the 17th century, you were required to be able to translate Latin on the spot.
Wow. Yeah, I can't do that.
Well,
that was the internet back then.
Well, I say I can translate things on the spot. I got my phone right here with Google Translate, so I can speak into it, and it'll say one of 100 languages fluently with, very good. So I don't know why I need to translate anything if the computer does it for me.
So, I mean, let's give young people some credit here, though. I mean, there have been some books in the last decade that have been tremendously popular among young people. The Hunger Games, the Harry Potter series, of course.
Potter.
Yep. So, I mean, obviously books aren't dead, but this is a disturbing
statistic. Again, 1 in 5 college freshmen have never read a book.
Anyway, Rudy, what else were you calling about tonight?
When you were at that conference in San Francisco, I called in about a program that I had heard in the middle of the night on BBC about Bitcoin, and I hunted down the information, and you need to listen to this program. And I have. I'm going to just read it to you how you get there. Okay.
All right. If it's brief.
WAMU.org. It's a public radio station. Go to programs, and it'll say view BBC World Schedule Variations. You go down to the bottom and click on America and the Caribbean, and it'll get you there. And just type. You just click on 17 July 2016, and the local time is 3:06 a.m. And it's a program, and there's a guy named Mike Hearn on there, a guy named Alex Walters on there. It's a half an hour of Bitcoin, real good stuff. And,
okay, so you're recommending a show. I thought you were going to tell us a little bit about what.
No, he called in on, I think it was Tuesday when you were in San Francisco.
Yeah. You're the Bitcoin guy. I'm just an old guy that ain't going to ever get into it. But you need to listen to the show.
Here's the best thing to do. Rather than giving people instructions on how to find it, just take the link and submit it to our website at freetalklive.com, and then it'll pop up there for anybody to check out. Rudy, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate it.
And the website is Reddit integrated so that people can vote it up.
Correct.
And if it's Bitcoin related, people are probably going to wind up voting that up.
Let's go to Ricky. He's in Pennsylvania. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Ricky.
Good evening, Brother Ian.
What's on your mind?
Brother Darryl, Brother TJ.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
From the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. I love you guys.
Okay, thank you.
I heard
We love you too.
I just caught your show. I'm sorry.
Oh, I just said we love you too. Go
Don't
ahead.
be sorry for loving.
Thank
Go ahead.
you, brothers. Yeah, I just caught your show, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the dumbing of American literature, if I could.
Sure.
Okay. Well, I'll use myself. I mean, when I was young, I read a lot of books. I love books, especially things that I found interesting. When I was real young, not when I was being taught in school. I already knew that was crock.
Mm-hmm.
Some of my favorite books I'll start off with literature: Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, Frankenstein, the Modern Prometheus, 1818 text. I read by the time before I was 12. I read William S. Burroughs' Naked Lunch. It was a favorite. The works of Shakespeare. Of course, I was looking at, the Bible. And then when I was a little bit older, 14, I started getting interested in textual criticism, in various texts, things that were in the Nag Hammadi library.
So you've gone through some of the things you liked. That's good. But what are your thoughts on young people and them not reading, 1 out of 5 having never completed a book?
Well, my thoughts on that is I think the intelligent kids, I know with me, just like you were kind of saying, I mean, first of all, they're disinterested. And plus, I can tell you right now, and I mentioned the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania a lot, when I learned about the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, it wasn't in school. They taught me even in PA with the Bill of Rights and the United States Constitution. I think they might have mentioned it once. And, young kids, they have gotten to the point where they don't read. I can't see to read anymore. But I mean, like TJ was saying, what do I need to translate for? Well, when it comes to textual criticism in different languages like Greek is it's the same as our alphabet. Fluent takes maybe about a month. But I mean, you can do it letter by letter when it comes to the Greek texts. Go to if you look at...
You saying you can be fluent in Greek in 1 month?
Absolutely. And you see, because their alphanumeric system, just like most of our stuff, is exactly the same and directly translates to English. Look at our Roman numerals and look at our numbers. And I'll say to TJ...
Well, we don't... I hate to say... We have Arabic numerals, so Roman numerals are like I, V, X. We actually use Arabic numerals. That's... I hate to tell people who are anti-Muslim, but unfortunately the Muslims gave us our 0 through 9 numbering system.
Oh, I love telling bigots that it was the Muslims.
I don't think Ricky's a bigot. I don't think
no, I wasn't saying that. I was just... Well, he said Roman numerals, and I said, it was... I apologize. It wasn't important. Go ahead with your story,
No,
sir.
That's an important correction, I think.
Yeah, actually, because if you look at I, that's 1. I, that's...
All right, we don't need a lesson on Roman numerals. Thanks, Ricky, for your call tonight. I don't really know what exactly he was trying to say there.
Me either.
Well, we're running close to the end here, so we kind of have to wrap up and move on. And
so I did find a little bit more data. You asked how long they've been doing this.
Yeah.
The NAS, that's the National Association of Scholars, first did a study in 2010, and they found, quote unquote, the vast majority of assigned books in the 290 colleges that they studied had been published in the preceding decade. So the vast, they studied 290 colleges to see what their required reading was.
So fewer classics.
And the vast majority were newer books. They did find 10 colleges that had reached back further. So only 3.4% of colleges. And they looked at, some of the stuff by Thoreau.
All right, so
Marx,
we're almost out of time here. If you're a book virgin, we want you to come out of the closet and admit it. But tonight you can't call in because we're already done. But maybe on another night, if you're a book virgin, we want to hear from you. Tell us why and what happened. See you tomorrow. On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
For years, LRN.FM has had a listen line that you can call and listen to LRN.FM anytime. Now we're taking the idea to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on-demand line. You can call 641-793-9660 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed, and you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long-distance fees may apply. Just dial 641-793-9660 and choose from the menu. 641-793-9660.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, July 22nd, 2016. Silver is trading at $19.65 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,323 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $668. Antiwar.com reports Turkey has informed the world that they intend a temporary suspension of their obligations under the European Convention on Human Rights, with Deputy Prime Minister Numan Kurtulmuş saying the nation is following France's example as they did the same thing in November. The suspension is related to the parliament's vote in favor of imposing a 3-month state of emergency. Under the Turkish constitution, the state of emergency can only violate human rights law to the extent that it does not also violate international treaties. The European Convention on Human Rights allows for temporary suspensions in time of war or other public emergencies, though Kurtulmuş says this will only be related to post-coup measures and that normal daily life will not be affected nationwide, at least no more than the nationwide purge already has. Since Friday night's coup failure, Turkey has arrested 9,000 people and sacked some 50,000, including entire industries. All academics are barred from leaving the country now as part of the crackdown. The European Convention on Human Rights bans a broad number of violations, including torture, slavery, and summary executions. It also bars governments from broadly restricting freedom of speech and freedom of association. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports the top illegal file-sharing site for music, TV, and movies in the world has been shut down by the U.S. federal government. Kickass Torrents, an international site where millions of people have shared copyrighted material for free, was run by a 30-year-old Ukrainian, Artem Volin, who was arrested Wednesday in Poland. The bust represents a major effort by U.S. law enforcement agencies to crack down on piracy after years of growing pressure by the country's biggest entertainment companies. The criminal complaint alleges investigators tracked Volin down through legal iTunes purchases he made in July and December of 2015, then through his site's Facebook page. Feds also traced him through his email account he used for those purchases. In the complaint, Kickass Torrents is said to be the 69th most visited site on the entire internet, with an average of 50 million visitors per month. And despite being a hub for illegal trade of copyrighted material, the site allegedly made between $12.5 and $22.3 million from advertising. In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. But Mr. Drake's security company has seen better days. Faced with the prospect of waning power, Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. But at what cost? And can anyone stop him? Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Reuters reports a federal judge on Thursday temporarily suspended a Michigan law that abolished straight-ticket voting, the practice of using one mark to vote for all candidates from one party that was going to take effect in the November general election. U.S. District Court Eastern District of Michigan Judge Gershwin Drain granted a preliminary injunction sought by the civil rights and labor groups who sued Secretary of State Ruth Johnson, arguing the law would keep African Americans from voting. In his ruling, Drain cited a report by Kurt Metzger, regional information specialist with the U.S. Census Bureau, that found that minority voters are more likely to use straight-party voting. The Michigan law is among a number of state voting rules that have been fought in the courts ahead of the November election, along with stricter voter identification laws in some states and laws on voting rights of felons in others. In January, Michigan Governor Rick Snyder signed into law a bill passed by the legislature to eliminate straight-party voting. Proponents of the law say most states have moved away from the straight-ticket voting option. Removing the option urges voters to study candidates and encourages voters to make decisions based on criteria other than party affiliation. Drain said the plaintiffs are likely to win their claim that the law violates the 1965 Voting Rights Act because the law reduces voting opportunities for African Americans in the state. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
I just got off the phone with New York. We are the #1 network in the world. And it is an honor to stand before you at such an exciting time. We're stretching boundaries that will irreparably alter people's perception of what they are willing to watch. And our next season will offer tantalizing programming that plays seamlessly into the desire of our viewers. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you just a taste of what ODS has to offer.
You know the rules. Grow a pumpkin or go home. Here's the twist. Only one of you has the real pumpkin seeds.
Are you a pumpkin or not?
You call yourselves pumpkin growers?
I know I didn't get the pumpkin seeds. I dug in there. They're bean sprouts.
Starting a pumpkin alliance. Anyone grows a pumpkin, we split the money.
Get out of my patch.
This is the Onion News Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by.
And welcome to Anarchy After Dark, where Ian is our producer tonight in the LRN.FM studios in
That's exciting.
Goddamn Keene, New Hampshire.
Yeah.
And he's already managed to piss me off. Fucking angle the mic up at yourself. Blah, blah, blah. Fucking asshole. So what's up with you, Cody?
Dude,
how's it going? I know.
First of all, settle down.
I can't help it. I just can't stop being a
sometimes
bitch.
I'll agree with you.
I can't.
This time, you're being petty.
I can't
Not gonna
help
lie.
but be a bitch, man. It's just, it's my
It's
shtick.
in your blood.
It is. What do you want me to do? You know what? Okay, so
Your
I'm
blood
looking.
type is bitch.
It's a B. I am a B for bitch. B negative.
It makes sense.
Okay, I didn't really know that, but that would be funny if my blood type were B negative. But anyways.
By the way, is that something you're supposed to know, like offhand, what your blood type
yeah,
is?
kinda. It is.
Really?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Well, you should figure that out, and so should I. But I'm gonna guess I'm a B negative.
I don't plan on needing blood, and here's the thing: I don't really want anybody else's blood, anyways. Like,
What if you need
all
it?
right,
Sometimes it's not really
think
an
of it this
option.
way: like, I'm already weird about wearing other people's clothes.
Really?
Other people's blood in my body?
You
Ugh,
borrowed
that's
Ian's
gross.
swim trunks last week.
I was desperate. I didn't want to.
Well, keep track of your shit, and we won't have that problem. Yo, I'm looking at our Facebook page right now, and we have 546 likes. We got 8 this week. When was the
Yeah.
last time we did a fucking show?
Isn't that worth talking about? Yeah. How long have we been away for? Has it been a month?
Oh my God, Ian. When was the last time we did a fucking show? Do you have any idea? Ian says he's going to find out. I have a feeling it was a long time ago because I've just been going to rave after rave after rave after rave.
Yeah. Lots of raves.
The Facebook page could probably tell us. My rave's coming up this week. I'm so excited. 7 days. I'm so scared.
but
June
the
10th, I
question
said
is-
no show again tonight. So it's fucking, holy shit. It might have been over a month.
Wow.
Nikki Darling a week ago.
We
the
gotta get
24th
better.
of June? Really? Did you do the show? Was I here?
I have no recollection. I
Yeah,
do
I
remember.
don't know.
I remember getting a Snapchat from Liberty Phoenix like last week saying, "Hey man, good show tonight." I'm like, did I do one? Wait, was me not being there better than me being there? What does that mean?
There were people posting on our page like,
And why are we getting so many likes? We're not good.
they're like, when are you doing a show?
We're so not good that we don't even do our job.
Exactly.
And yet we have so many. I can't. I'm trying to figure it out, and I don't think it has anything to do with me.
It's probably just because I'm cute. Sorry, Muffin.
Yeah.
Well, that's too bad.
Oh well.
But
we're here now. It's gonna be a good one. I'm feeling good about it.
yeah. I'm
big
excited.
news.
Big news.
Cops are dead.
I haven't even been paying attention, but I've heard that there's some shit going down right now. What I miss. I don't fucking pay attention anymore. I just don't care.
I know. Well,
It's
the
old
thing
news.
The thing was, I've had an entire day to collect my thoughts on the issue, or at the very least, read the fucking news article about it.
Well, you don't really have a choice.
Well, and that's the thing.
'Cause you
It's
work at a news station.
Yeah, we broke in the live coverage. Big breaking news. Fuck you. Fuck your news. I'm over it,
Man with gun
give a
gets
fuck.
New Jersey. Man with gun
So-
gets shot by police during traffic stop. Authorities say.
Yeah, something about a traffic stop. Is that how it started?
Live Black Lives Matter protests take place in several states after fatal police shooting. What the wait? Alton Sterling? What the hell is going? What the fuck did I just miss? Is literally my feed? I'm like scrolling down
All
my
right,
feed. And
I
there's
can tell you
marching
two
in the
things.
streets. What the fuck?
Dallas, Texas.
Atlanta.
Cops are dead. Wait, are more cops dead somewhere else?
Huge protest going on in Atlanta right now. Police have stopped protesters at the downtown connector. The Georgia State Patrol has formed a line at the William Street exit to prevent the group from making it onto the highway. I don't know what I'm confused. I don't know what's going on. Let's see what Facebook says. Apparently there's live coverage. Black Lives Matter. Oh. Protests continued on Friday in cities including New York, Houston, Baton Rouge after the fatal police shootings of Sterling in Louisiana and Philando Castle in Minnesota. Oh God, is this more of that Black Matter shit? Again? Black Lives Matter? Again?
Yeah.
Can we all just chill? All lives matter. Like, calm down. Black lives matter? Yes. White lives matter? Yes. Everyone's lives matters. I don't know.
Maybe, but not that much.
Right.
Only a
like
little
I don't. Are we still doing this? Are we
Yes.
still doing?
Yeah.
Hasn't it
so
been like 2 years now? Have we not been going on about this for like 2 years?
this is why I have become increasingly like bored by the news, because the same shit happens over and over
This is
again.
why I'm not paying attention. This is why I don't fucking care. It's the same.
Like-
although this time it looks like there's like a bunch of protests going on in a bunch of places right now. People are looking pretty pissed off. But I'm not seeing any white people in these
I'm trying to decide how
crowds.
I feel at the very moment. So anti-violence, pro-peace, yada yada yada. But I don't know about you, but isn't there like a part of you who's like kind of excited for like massive riots, just to bring a little bit more excitement into your life?
Oh, there's a guy with an anonymous mask out here. Wait, what the fuck is going on? I'm watching the live Facebook feed from Atlanta right now, and this is.
Oh, so this is happening like at this moment.
Yeah, literally, it's streaming live. I don't know what the fuck I guess they're freaking out about more police shootings.
I just figured
out.
I just figured out what we need to have happen.
Oh my God, Police State Central.
Yeah.
Dear God, I guess I'm actually reporting live. So what I'm seeing on this video, there's like a police line, and I guess I see they're trying to block the exit. But like, dear God, the people are outnumbering the police, and they look fucking scared. Because all they've got are their cars and their little blue flashing lights. They look they're all like huddled together. They're not even like completely like spread out in a line.
So-
They're huddled together.
You're telling me the cops are losing right now?
Oh God, yeah. Oh God, there's a aerial shot going out right now, and oh my God.
Wow.
This is awesome.
I know. I'm kind of bummed I can't see it.
I know. I'm sorry. Holy shit. It's easy. Go on Facebook, and it's fucking trending with a little live button right next to it right now. So, I mean, it's not hard to find.
Meh.
Holy shit. Cool.
Well, here. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, because I know a lot of like brutalist anarchists are super excited about this. But the cops, they might look like they're losing now. But guess what?
Oh, yeah. The aftermath will be worse.
It's the government. They're
'Cause
gonna
police
look
lives
at this
matter,
situation and they're going to go, well, this is why we need to have more guns. This is why we need to have more tanks. So,
no, this is why we need to have more guns, but you don't.
Yeah, but you're thinking like a smart person, and most people aren't going to do that.
Oh.
The news media is going to be like crisis, chaos. I guarantee. Look it up. I guarantee there's already a hashtag like stand with Dallas or some shit.
Nope. Hashtag Alton Sterling.
Really?
Yep.
I'm shocked.
Yup. And hashtag Black Lives Matter. Those are the two trending right now.
Fuck Twitter.
No, Facebook.
Oh, no. I was talking about Twitter. Sorry.
Oh. Fuck Twitter. Yeah. Fuck Twitter. I don't know.
Fuck it enough to not even check to see if that's an actual hashtag.
I'm not seeing it, but I mean, who fucking cares? Like, I just want to know, what are these people going to do about it? What are you going to do? What are you going to do after you all decide to go home? What are you going to do?
Who?
I don't know. These people who are marching in the streets right now. What are they going to do?
I don't know.
Because, like, seriously, the police are going to make this worse later.
I don't get it. How do you know you won? Do you just stay out there with, like, a fucking torch or a pitchfork until what?
You win when they
Until
stop
what?
fucking harassing everybody and they leave us the fuck alone no matter what color our skin is. How about that? That's when we fucking win, which I don't see us winning anytime soon. So we'll be back with more Anarchy After Dark.
We're all doomed.
We're all fucked. Everything's fucked. It's all just fucked.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you're helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
And welcome back to Anarchy After Dark, where we were just talking about Taylor Swift's vagina.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sloppy ham sandwiches.
Apparently these are the things you miss because you can't hear the breaks.
Yep. I don't know. I was
total radio gold right there. I mean,
right.
Top-notch stuff.
I just hate that I keep seeing things that have visuals that I can't show you guys. So I don't know. I was just laughing at this headline that said, "World's worst mom compares her daughter's vagina to Taylor Swift's using a sloppy ham sandwich." And so the post says, the reason I preach #Christianity, my daughters represent the right, and there's a ham sandwich on the right that's tucked in and gently pieced together. It's like the bread's closed up so you can't see the ham. And then it continues, Taylor Swift's vagina represents the left, which is a ham sandwich with a sloppy, the hands just sticking out everywhere. It's just all over the place. But yeah, that's not how vaginas work, but that's okay. Whatever. I'll ignore that. But I don't know. I this is stupid. Nobody cares. But I found this because Calvin Harris was trending on my newsfeed. Not that I care because he's a shitty mainstream DJ, but Calvin Harris and Taylor Swift were together for a little while. And I just saw a fucking Vogue article like a couple weeks ago. Like, I don't know, Taylor Swift was talking about how she's so happy in her relationship and blah, 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 blah. And then like a week ago, I see that Calvin Harris and her broke up. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, must have been real good when that Vogue article was reported on. Like, stupid. Okay, whatever. And then I see like 2 days ago that she's already fucking some other guy, apparently like Tom Hiddleston or something. I don't even know who the fuck that is, nor do I care. But I don't know. I just wanted to get that out there.
But you care enough to bring it up. I mean, holy shit, is that gossipy?
I know. Well, I'm just because I see this happen, you know, with like
I don't get
in
how
real
anybody
life.
cares.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't know. I don't
TMZ
really
shit,
care, but at
E.
the same time, I'm like, wow, what a little hoe.
Yeah. So?
I guess so. I don't know. I really don't care, but
Well, you know what she would say.
shake it off.
Haters gonna hate.
Basically. Whatever. I told a guy the other day that he was the guy that Taylor Swift's been trying to warn me about. He pissed me off. So I just thought I'd nonchalantly call him a dick.